It's the best of Ron and Fez.
Fez, you were in D.C. over the weekend. How did that all go for you?
It was a nice enough trip. Had a good time. Got together with the old Friday Night Lights gang that I used to hang out with when we were on WJFK. So had a good time there. Driving back home in the rental car, not the best of times.
No,
I got lost.
Yeah, Fez calls me. Well, first of all, and Dave will back me up on this. Come on in here, Dave. So, Fez, you have a little bit of a bridge thing where you don't like bridges.
I despise bridges. I have the biggest bridge phobia. I can't describe the feeling I get on a bridge.
Yeah, you just don't like bridges. He gets a tad nervous around them. So he calls, we're in here the other day, and then Fez brings up, how big is this? How many bridges do I have to get over? And I go, you only got to go over one. But it's a decent-sized bridge. You know, you're at the Delaware Memorial Bridge. It's a large bridge. I go, you could probably go up an exit to the Commodore Barry. It's a little bit smaller, but it's thinner. You're like, no, I'll just take the first one. And then you bring up a bridge which you claim is the most feared bridge in the world.
The Benjamin Franklin Bridge in Philadelphia is the #1 scariest bridge in the world. I'm almost positive there's a stat. It's the #1 bridge where people just stop their cars on the bridge because they're too frightened to drive over it.
So he brings that up, and that's got Fez into a panic. And I go, shut up, Dave. Fez, don't listen to him. You're nowhere even close to that bridge. For whatever reason, Fez calls me as soon as he says, I am down off the bridge. And I've done it. I'm like, great, good. He goes, but there's bridges all over here. I go, no, there's not. There's just the one bridge. Everywhere I look, I see a bridge. He's lost. He's driving through the city of Philadelphia, and the next thing he sees is the sign for the bridge that you claim more people just get out and abandon cars than drive over.
The Ben Franklin Bridge. I see the sign for it, and I see this ominous bridge coming up on my side.
And to me, that's just a regular bridge. What's so scary for you?
No. The lanes, I believe, are smaller than normal bridges.
Oh, yeah.
You drive over the GW, the lanes are bigger.
Yeah.
The Ben Franklin Bridge, the lanes are tiny. Accidents galore, and people just are totally scared to go over that. I don't know how you made it over.
You know, good point. With the older bridges, they do, you can have some small lane bridges, but I don't think it's all that high compared to a lot of bridges.
Well, it's got its height, though. I think it has its height decently enough.
Are you gonna compare it with Golden Gate? Are you in that type of deal?
I know that this is something that I learned.
It's far from one of the world's most famous bridges.
I know.
Let alone the bridge people get out and walk out on. So to get back to the gist of the story, Fez decides to make this drive from D.C. to New York that he's never taken before, without once checking a map, without realizing. What did you have it in your pinhead that it's just 95?
Yeah, that's exactly what I had in my head, that you just go up 95 and eventually that hooks up with the Jersey Turnpike and I get into New York through the Lincoln Tunnel. I don't know why I just assumed this.
You thought 95 just ran out there and you would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not even of, bad planning.
Yeah.
Or I thought this would be a faster way to go. I mean, it's zero thinking whatsoever. It's total just assumption.
Now, Dave, do you remember this when I said to him, look, if you want, I can look at a map. Because I know he was worried about bridge. Yeah. Maybe we can get you up to the Delaware Water Gap or something. You cross over with the Delaware Mall. No, don't worry. He doesn't think to himself, I need to maybe glance at a map for a trip I've never taken in my life.
I mean, all I thought about really with the drive back was that bridge. You told me I would have to go over a bridge.
Right.
And you told me the Delaware Memorial Bridge had the widest lanes.
Yeah.
And that just sealed my mind closed there. I go, widest lanes is perfect.
But why wouldn't you look for the sign, Delaware Memorial Bridge, which you do see from 95?
Yeah.
Before you get to Wilmington.
I must have just gone right past it.
Yeah.
You don't MapQuest or anything like that?
You know what's weird? He MapQuests everything. He MapQuests a trip to take in the subway. He MapQuests walking trips. He always does.
Did you MapQuest to get down there?
No, I flew.
Oh, that's
right. You see, you really don't worry about directions other than get on the plane, then get off the plane.
I figured the pilot had that leg of the trip handled.
Yeah. So that's normally fine. So, for whatever reason, fucking Mr. Magoo decides just to be driving around. He takes a trip that should go 4 hours, 5 if you got a lot of Sunday traffic. He does it in 9.
Oh, no.
9 hours driving around like Magoo.
Driving to Canada.
Because when I talked to Ronnie and realized I was in the wrong place, then I'm like trying to figure out how to get back to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Without going over another bridge.
Right. It's double problem.
Even if you're lost in Philly, how long does it take to find a way to get back to New York from Philly? That shouldn't take that long.
Well, but he had a bridge to turn around and go over. Yeah. That bridge, I don't even know, near the Navy Yard, that drops you down at Broad Street, right at the stadium, that bridge scared him, which... That's not a known scary bridge.
Remember I was telling you, I keep seeing all these bridges. I hope I don't have to go over them, too.
Yeah.
And
I'm going, no, there's no bridges, because I think he's going over the Delaware Memorial.
I knew on Friday he was going to have to go over that Ben Franklin Bridge. That's why I brought that thing up. I knew he was going to get lost and go over that bridge.
When you said, where are you?
Yeah.
And I said, Philly.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what the exact words were, but it was kind of like, what the fuck, you're not supposed to be in Philly.
Yeah.
And my heart just sank at that exact moment. I might as well have driven off the bridge, because then it's like, all right, do I just stop now and get out of the car and start screaming for help?
Now this is how bad my life is. After I hang up with him, I'm doing a thing with the checkbook going, should I go get him? And then she's going, how are you going to get your car back? And I'm like, you're going to have to go with me, and you're going to have to follow me back here once I drive his truck for him. Because I don't want him driving around like fucking Joe Montserrat. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Well, that's totally what happened. And then you showed me a way. You told me a way to get to where I needed to go.
Yeah.
I got lost trying to find that way.
What was that, like a Bristol Bridge or something like that?
Forget it.
Yeah, the Bristol Bridge in 276.
Forget it. I know what you're talking about. That Bristol Bridge gets you out into, like, bumblefuck somewhere where it's just factories and it's terrible.
Well, like, what is he doing over there? You've got a huge turnpike that has rest stops and it's all laid out for you. There's no problems.
There really are a lot of signs to get you from Philly back to the city.
You've got to be aware. You just don't get in a car and just start driving and thinking, I'll see the Empire State Building.
I was so on automatic pilot thinking, this 95 North will do all the work for me.
Oh, no.
Oh, and then once I realized I was lost when I talked to you.
And again, you know how he has a bridge phobia? He also has a lost phobia.
The lost phobia is worse than the bridge phobia, I think.
How can it be? How can anything be worse than pure fear?
Because it's pure fear personified.
Okay.
Did you ever consider taking a train? Maybe taking a train back?
He went down there because he emptied out a storage thing, was bringing it back to New York.
Well, how about getting the stuff moved professionally by, like, a driver?
Here's the problem. Bri offered to do it for him in his truck, but Fez turned him down because he wants to believe that he's an adult now.
Well, I'd like to think that I'm human and that I could do the basicest, the simplest of human tasks.
Did you just say basic?
The most basic.
Yeah. All I could think is this. What if you had baby love with you? Lord knows when that baby would have got a chance to eat.
Oh, when I had my meltdown yesterday, I said to and I had to pull over.
Yeah.
After I got lost the second time, I just had to pull over, and I just lost it. And from being lost, and I'm like, I cannot handle the simplest thing. I got no right whatsoever.
Wait a minute, you pulled off the road and started crying like a woman?
I started it was crying, yeah, but it was mostly just like a hyperventilating thing.
I do an impression, please. Here's the weird thing. You don't have to be at work for another 36 hours, right?
Right.
What do you give a fuck? Why not just drive around? Take a Sunday drive. Crank up some fucking rock. Put the Beach Boys on. Pop the top. You're on your way.
I'm just thinking I'm going to be out here all night. I will out here all night.
So what if you were? It doesn't matter. That's what you got to realize. It just doesn't matter.
Oh, man, the freak out that I had. And then it just took me a while, too, to get going again, to say, all right, now I have to go find this place.
Did you ask anybody?
New York. It's the biggest fucking city in the country. This fucking place that you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I did, and then I didn't want to call Ronnie again, because...
Why not?
Because I had already bugged you like 3 times on the phone with this, and I'm like, and this thing was supposed to be right in front of me. I mean, I knew I was there where I was supposed to find this 276 Bristol Bridge.
Yeah.
And just could not do it, couldn't find it.
Well, then, like, I go, we haven't heard from him in a while, he must be good. My chick calls back maybe an hour and a half later, right? Hey, how'd you make out? Coming up on it now. I look over at a map. I go, he went like 8 miles in the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
He's fucking driving around like a maniac.
In circles.
And I Googled this to find out what your fear is called, and it's retard mongoloid is the only name for it.
This is not the official name of the phobia.
Why wouldn't one of those Friday Night Lights people have come up with you?
I'm sure they would have if I asked, but the night before, I think I'm capable.
Were you drinking the night before?
No, I didn't drink.
Maybe that's your problem.
I should have. At that point, a hangover wouldn't have made it any worse.
How about just going asking a gas station? Somebody.
Okay, good
He doesn't
point.
speak to strangers.
Good point. I take an exit thinking, all right, I can go find some place, just ask.
Oh, that's the thing.
I'm driving and driving off this exit. Now I'm thinking I won't be able to find 95. I start panicking again. I can't find any place.
I bet it was 100 yards before the panic hit.
Oh, it wasn't far. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking all these turns because it looks like something will be down there. I'm like, I won't find my way back to 95. So that was like lost panic on top of lost panic.
Maybe you're one of those old ladies that should just stay in their apartment. And then after 6 months, somebody smells something rotting.
Driving Mr. Watley.
No, we know you're dead.
I totally thought of that last night when I finally got home.
Just give in to agoraphobia?
Exactly. I have no right to leave this place. What right did I think I could have, moved outside of this building?
All right, I'm pointing this out there on Dave. You saw what condition he was in when he was 16 minutes late for work.
Yeah.
You guys cannot let him wander around on the weekend without... One of you guys could have went taking a trip with him.
I will drive with you any fucking time you go.
There will be a next time.
There won't.
And I'll do all the driving. I'll drive
By
down.
By the way, there's a whole big fucking point of this in Confederacy of Dunces. Just a fat guy who refuses to travel.
It started out so nice, too. Everything was just clicking, the plane trip. I was very nice. I enjoyed that, up and down.
But no matter what, even like if you feel like, oh, it's not a big deal, glance at a map before you go somewhere so you can at least see what exits you're taking. So it's not a last-second thing. Something guys do.
Yeah.
You just glance at the map. And I like to look at maps for no reason in case I ever tried to invade Cincinnati. I'm going to know what bridges I'm going to take out.
Then when I finally figured out which way I was going, I made it to that Bristol Bridge and went over that thing, which is not a long bridge, but it's really tall and really narrow, one of those old-fashioned wrought iron bridges.
I Googled the image after I pointed it out there, and I said to my chick, I go, I don't know, it's not too big, but I bet he's going to struggle with it.
They should call it the Bridge of Death. That thing is the scariest. That's scarier.
You got a bridge problem, too?
Yeah, I know. I hear you exactly with everything.
Because it seems like you're blowing this bridge thing out of proportion with yourself.
I am with you on this one, Mr. W. I definitely feel your pain. I will drive next time.
The only thing they should have named this bridge is Rickety. The Rickety Memorial Bridge is the Bristol one I was on.
Let me point out something to both of you guys. Where's that bridge going? You never hear about bridges falling down.
I heard about a bridge. I think the Tappan Zee Bridge had some construction difficulties.
Yes, but it's still up.
It's still up.
They have a crack in the concrete, and the whole state worries about it. You never hear about one of these big bridges giving out.
It's only a matter of time, though. I mean, the odds.
But here's what you don't realize. When you're driving down 95, that's really a bridge anyway. That whole thing is up off the city. If there was water underneath you, you would think, wow, this is a long bridge. But the fact, because it's ground, you're not getting the point. You're being held up like it's a bridge, you fucking morons.
They just seem that they should have never been made, that human beings should not make bridges.
Human beings should never cross a river. They should just stay on their side of the river.
No, you can cross a river with a boat, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, that won't take too much time.
I am with you, Fez.
Imagine if everybody coming from Jersey to New York had to stop for a ferry.
The way they used to do it.
Well, yes, sure.
They did
back
for
in the 1700s.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it was great.
Human beings have lived for 2,000 years. These bridges are a very new invention, and we've seen how many airplane crashes.
So are cars.
Exactly, and how many car crashes are there? How many airplane crashes?
So you're afraid of cars now?
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is bridges are a modern invention, and I'm with Fez. They will collapse someday. All of them.
I'm not worried.
You're not helping him.
And it's my own thing about the bridge. I don't worry about the bridge collapsing. My thing is that I will go quite mad, pass out, and drive off the side of it.
So what you're afraid of is yourself.
I am afraid of myself. I'm afraid of the panic attack on the bridge.
Lucy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Fez.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Fez missed a big, huge sign. I'm doing the same thing, actually. I'm a truck driver. And I just stayed on 95, and I got lost and everything. But if you stay in the right lane and there's a big, huge sign that says 295 to New Jersey Turnpike, and it gets you right there.
Yeah, completely missed that one.
Fez missed that.
Yeah, the other point of it, Lucy, is everyone has been lost in a car before, but we don't take it on as big as Fez does. Like, normally, I spend half my time lost, but it doesn't occur to me that I'll never get home. I'm just mad at the situation for that moment. I don't think, well, what am I going to do for food? Where will I sleep tonight? I'm never getting back.
That's exactly how I feel. That was a very nice summation there.
Yeah. It's not like it's your first time, so I've heard these complaints before.
There's another problem, too, though, going from here down to D.C., and that is that there's so many 95s. There's 95, there's 195, 295, 495. So it's like, what 95 are you, trying to... Now, I've never gotten lost, don't get me wrong, but I could see how it could happen.
Yes, there's more than one road on the planet.
But do they have to all end in 95, call something?
Yes, because they're connected with 95. Most of those roads that you bring up keep you out of the cities, most of the time.
They should rename them. Abraham Lincoln Thruway or something like that.
What should they call it?
Abraham Lincoln Thruway?
Uh-huh.
How's that going to help?
That's going to keep him from being lost?
I still wouldn't have taken the Abraham Lincoln Thruway.
Look, Magoo was fucking driving around blind, didn't know where he was going. Liam, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yes, how you doing, guys?
Good.
I just want to tell you, you're talking about bridges that have never collapsed. The Sunshine Skyway in St. Petersburg, Ron, you should actually remember, it collapsed many years back, and they just built a new one right next to it, which is the scariest bridge.
All right. Well, first of all, it didn't collapse. It was hit by a ship during a rainstorm. And that may be where Fez's bridge phobia came from, because Fez lived, how close to that bridge? Like 5 miles?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was a scary thing, and it used to be 2 spans, and the one span that was hit was still there. It was just stopped at the top, right? Well, then and it used to be one way each way. Then they made it a 2-lane bridge over the whole mouth of a bay, and when you got to the very top of it, you had to see half a bridge, so that in your mind you could imagine what it must have felt like for those people to go off that span. Wow. So that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, and that Skyway Bridge, I still, to this day, will not go over that.
Well, that's a nice, smooth bridge now. That one it's really a slow climb. It's nice.
It's a slow climb. It's really high, and the wide lanes, it's really super wide, so that you really can't see over the side too much, like down to the water.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but I still won't go over it.
Well, why would you just say 3 good things and then say that you had a problem with it?
Because it's too high, it's too long.
So we used to live in, like, St. Pete, Clearwater. We would have a gig in Sarasota, which would take you, half an hour, 45 minutes. Fez would not drive over the bridge. He would drive around an entire bay, taking a 4 or 5 hour trip each way, so that he would not have to go over a bridge.
Yeah, and like if I was driving towards that bridge, I would like on the way back, headed north, I would come up to the sign where you could either go the long way around on the road or go over the bridge, and I would think in my mind, all right, today I can go over that bridge. Today I can go over that bridge right up until that exit and then stay on the road. I would not take it.
Not do it at all.
No.
One time he actually had a hose. He was trying to suck the bridge dry and then go across it. Just drive underneath. He didn't stand a chance. He did not stand a chance. Tony, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys, I hate to, it's conspiracy, Fez, and I hate to say it, but Dave was kind of right. There's actually 295s. When you follow 95, it takes you into Pennsylvania. But once you get into New Jersey and take the Turnpike, that's also 95.
Yeah, so, and everybody who lives and travels in the Northeast understands this. The thing is, Fez got to New York a couple years ago and hasn't really left New York, so I assumed that when I said you take the Delaware Memorial Bridge into the Turnpike, and that would have done it for you. If you would have taken that turn, it would have worked perfectly. But I talked to you like you knew what I was talking about, and I guess you didn't.
And I thought I knew what you were talking about.
Right.
I absolutely thought I knew. I mean, in my mind, I'm going to get on 95 North, heading out of D.C., and in my mind, I knew I had to get on the Jersey Turnpike eventually. I just never had a clue or never stopped to think, where do those two get together?
You thought of it as like the Yellow Brick Road, where you just start following it, it'll take you straight to Oz.
Right into Emerald City.
And then you were even supposed to get a much earlier start than you did, and you were up all night, right?
I was, we closed down the sports bar Thursdays there, doing Saturday Night Lights, and I'm like, all right, and I thought I was being good. I was like, being good to myself, where it's like, all right, don't make yourself get up at 5 a.m. and get things together for a 6 a.m. road trip. Sleep in a couple hours.
I would have been perfect to get up early and go.
And I didn't.
Well, then you wouldn't have to deal with all the other traffic and all the stuff that was freaking you.
Yeah, then, it would have been the right decision to make. But I think, but in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, sleep in an extra couple of hours, and I'm trying to tell myself it just doesn't matter then.
No,
and then it ended up mattering.
Every decision you made was wrong. Every decision you made down the line turned out to be wrong. Hey, Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Good morning, buddies. How we doing?
Good.
Good. Fez, I just want to know about your level of meltdown. Was this worse than your Mikey D meltdown, or about the same category? Or
I don't think it was as bad as my Mikey D meltdown, because that didn't have anger involved in it. The one from getting lost yesterday. Yesterday was just pure panic attack running on fear.
Yeah.
Was it worse than your meltdown when you were 16 minutes late for work?
Yes, it was worse than that one.
Wow. And that's the one that made the Flash cry, watching you cry. He was looking at you like a bad movie, and then he started sobbing.
Flash would not have been wanting to ride shotgun.
Well, yeah, then he could have pointed things out to you. Maybe if you had somebody riding shotgun.
If you have a tendency to get lost, you should MapQuest a few alternate, directions home.
Or get one of those GPS deals.
Yeah, usually I try to get that in the rental car.
Mm-hmm.
And this van that I had rented didn't have it with it. It wasn't like an option that you could get with this thing.
Mm.
How big was the truck you were driving?
It was like a minivan thing.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, instead of getting a rental here in the city, he got one all the way out in the airport. So you had to drive over the 69th Street Bridge, the Queensboro.
Oh, yeah, the
59th Street Bridge.
Yeah, so I had to drive that.
I still do the Escape from New York. Did you ever notice that? They call it the 69th Street Bridge. I do that all the time. So how was that for you?
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad because I was like, by the time I got into Manhattan, it was so late, I was so worn out, and then this bridge is right in front of me. And I'm thinking, all right, I go over this bridge in the back of taxis all the time.
Right.
Driving it, completely different experience. And just thinking, all right, I'm going off the side of this thing. I'm going to hit the guardrail and bounce right off the side of it.
All right, now, despite all the things that went wrong, do you feel anything good about having accomplished your goal, though?
No. No, not whatsoever.
Why not? Because here, no matter what you thought or what went wrong, you got your ass from D.C. to New York with all your stuff. That's a good thing.
All I feel is like I was stupid for trying. I should have left it all in that storage unit.
Was it worth? I mean, the stuff that you got.
First of all, Kathleen from the Bronx took most of it.
That's true.
At the patio. Is the stuff that you brought, was that worth going through this horror show?
I mean, it was. I mean,
or was it just like a big rocking chair? Like, what did you bring back?
Let's face it, no one needs anything. No one needs a goddamn thing. When you really look at your stuff in the trunk, it looks like shit. It might feel like great in your house, but when you see it in the back of a truck, you're like, throw a match back there. It's fucking hideous.
I mean, all that stuff has sat in there for a year without me saying, oh, I needed that box out of there. Oh, my gosh, why did I leave that in Virginia?
Barney, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
I've been listening to you guys for quite some time, and it all comes down to this. There is not one thing Fez does not have anxiety attacks about. He's afraid of fucking everything.
I don't know if that helps, but...
I disagree.
There are...
Okay, name one thing, Fez. What aren't you afraid of?
I am not afraid, my friend, of the dentist. I can go to the dentist anytime I want. I choose not to.
So you're saying there are things you don't have panic about.
Right.
But quite a bit that you do.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
There's plenty there.
Well, at least it's getting better as the years go by.
Not really. Not after yesterday's horrible display.
I just think a lot of this has to do with two things, Fez. It's the fear of death that you have.
Right.
You need to get over that one, and I think everything else will fall through. Okay. And two, you got to learn not to give a shit about anything.
Yeah. And just when I think I'm not giving a shit, is when I give the shit the most.
The thing that I notice that you don't care about is your own fashion. That is, you would think, a step in the right direction. You make Bill Murray look like he's well dressed.
I get a little slovenly, especially when it's so damn hot out.
Sure.
And I'm just looking for the easiest, coolest thing to put on.
Why don't you go over to a dentist's office and let them know that you're not afraid of them?
I would scream that in their lobby.
What is this? It's nothing to me.
Your drill sound doesn't bother me, my friend.
So you actually have made up a list of the things that you're not afraid of. Dentist is on it.
Dentist is there.
Yeah.
That is about it.
Yeah. So you're thinking now, if you would have had the baby, it would have even been worse. My point is, you would have always had to stay calm and collected for baby love. Because let's face it, the dad can't be pulling off the road, crying and hyperventilating in front of the children. That's a bad parent.
I was thinking about it, and I'm thinking all I would do then, the only thing that would change is me still pulling off the road screaming, help me and my baby, help my baby. That's the only thing I think would have been different was the panic dialogue.
Baby Love would have given him focus before his whole fucking thing. Baby Love actually would have helped you because you would have had everything meticulously researched and planned out. And if there was a Baby Love, no, you would have not gotten lost.
The only thing now is I'm starting to think they're going to take that thing off you like Dakota Fanning from Sean Penn, where they're just going to say you can't do this.
I am Sam. The thing I'm so pissed about today is that I didn't plan this trip. You know, that I didn't MapQuest.
It's just unlike you, too. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, because I always do that. You know what I did? I MapQuest because I couldn't remember where my storage unit was. From the airport where I picked up the rental van?
Yeah.
I MapQuest to my storage unit because I could not trust myself to remember where I left my belongings.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, you're acting like there's something wrong with it. Short-term memory, it happens. You got a lot of things to think of. This is not unusual.
But why wasn't I meticulous enough to think, oh, wait, I have to drive back to New York City. Why not check that?
But here's what I'm trying to say. That obviously was a little bit of a screw-up. You got your bridge fear. But you did it. Why can't you celebrate the fact that you got yourself 500 miles, you ran through some difficulties, you overcame them? That's an adventure. No one, you're not going to get to the end of like a film. You know, you're not going to be Lord of the Rings, and you're not going to have Frodo. I didn't even see this film. I'm going to try to figure it out. You're not going to have Frodo going, well, yeah, even though we got the rings, we still had all those problems, so it wasn't a good thing. You having a venture, Indiana Jones, you overcome, and that's what you did. You had a kind of a gay Indiana Jones adventure where you panicked, you broke down, But the fact of the matter is you did it.
I was pissed at myself for getting lost because it was a stupid mistake on my part for getting lost. I was pissed that once you told me how to find my way back,
right,
that I couldn't find that way. Then I just felt like the retard of all retards.
But I don't understand why you didn't even call back again. Why you wait, an hour goes by, so we finally go, okay, everything's all right when we call you, thinking you're okay. But for an hour, you're going around like a fucking spinning top down there.
Because because you told me where it was, and I was where I should have been.
Yeah.
But still couldn't find it. And my thought was, how is Ronnie going to be able to help me any more than that?
But I would have fucking, I would have stayed on the phone with you until we found it. It's impossible to get lost in the United States of America. We are blanking it with highways and byways. Everything's going to be fine.
I watch when I was...
But they're going to put you in a nuthead. That's my only thing. At a certain point of the daily, I can't find myself, they're going to throw you in a nut hut.
Even when I was on the right road after going over that Bristol Bridge to get to the New Jersey Turnpike, I'm seeing signs for the New Jersey Turnpike, and it was winding and twisting right before I could actually get on
it. But it runs right down the middle of the state. If you just start to head to the beach, you are going to hit that.
And I'm like so nervous then that, all right, it says straight ahead. What if I'm reading this wrong? And I'm going straight. The sign says straight. What if I'm still doing it wrong?
I'm lost on this. I don't even know how to
explain. What I mean?
No.
Did you eat at all? Did you have
That's a good point.
Something to drink, some medication?
Protein?
I did not eat all day.
All right, so that's another huge mistake.
I couldn't. I was puking.
But you've got to have protein in your body to think right. Another thing that you do all the time, you fuck up your blood sugar, and that keeps you from thinking properly.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to eat since Saturday night before.
So, this is a plethora of things that you did wrong and didn't plan properly. If you got a trip, you've got to have some protein first thing in the morning. You should have some bars in the car. You should have protein bars, piece of fruit, something that is going to keep your blood sugar okay.
Would you have fed Baby Love during the trip?
No, he wouldn't have.
Because if you would have fed Baby Love, you owe it to yourself to feed yourself. That's the point.
What are you, a fucking therapist now?
I've been watching some Dr. Phil.
Well, it's not working for you.
Yeah, it was just bad. The later I got, I'm like, well, first of all, I wasn't even hungry. My stomach was so freaking upset.
I'm not saying that you should be hungry. You need this to make your brain work properly. It's the same as putting gas in the car. You have to have some protein or you get fucking nuts.
And then it was like getting later and later, and I'm like, well, I can't stop and get up now.
When I drove
Why? You weren't due anywhere. You were not fucking due anywhere. And I've told you before, we have the type of bosses who will say, sure, boys, go ahead, take off today and tomorrow. They are always cool about that. And Wiki lives down there. You could have called him and he would have fucking drove back with you. You have a lot of people that would have been there. Everybody's been lost before. It's not anything. It's just part of life. It's not a big deal.
I just hate it more than anyone does.
Then that's something you can control. You can control your reaction. You can't control not being lost. Everybody has done it. Everybody has ended up hundreds of miles away. One time I pulled off the road, and I'm in the middle of Florida, right? I pulled off the road 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought I could make it all the way back. I'm tired. So I wake up in the morning pissed. Look, I fucking wasted money on the hotel. I only slept 4 hours. I just hop up, drive across the state. Now I'm driving for 3 hours, and what's that lake in the middle of the...
Lake Okeechobee?
I pull up to it, right? And I go, fuck, there's no way around this. Jesus Christ, this is a huge lake. I go, no fucking lake could be this big. I start looking around. I see a sign that says Vero Beach. I am fucking sitting on the other side of the state, staring at the Atlantic Ocean, in my mind, trying to let on, God, this is a big lake. Instead of going, you could be lost. It happens to everyone. You don't fucking pull off the road and panic or get upset about it. Doesn't matter.
Remember when I got lost for 2 hours going to get that pizza when we first moved to Northern Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was brutal. That That might have been the one thing that got me on, being afraid of being lost.
Yeah.
That may have been this catalyst on that one.
One good tip for when you're getting lost is you just explore where you're lost a little bit.
Check it out.
You go to the local diner or to the local convenience store. You make fun of them in the car when you're leaving. You do have a little mini Hunter S. Thompson thing.
He's got a good point there, Fez, is that you stay part of your environment. Like a lot of people go on a Sunday drive. They don't know exactly where they're going or where they're going to come out, and they enjoy it.
They're insane.
You were on a Sunday drive with all your stuff in a van, that's all. And some bridges from time to time. Hey, Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, he really is Ignatius Riley. I think his pyloric valve just sealed shut.
Yeah, he is.
Unbelievable. But I'm a comedian, and I had a feature with me once. I actually did your room twice, so nice place.
Thank you.
Miss it badly. But he kept going over 40 minutes every time in the beginning, so I knew he had this horrible fear of bridges, and I took him across this one because he had to drive with me. One of those all-metal ones with the metal floors.
Yeah.
And that your car just shakes and vibrates on. I stopped the car dead in the center, and this kid went into an apoplectic fit. He started crying, foaming at the mouth, and I said, you got a choice. Either you do your 30 minutes or you get out of the car right now. And this kid just begged me. He was crying his eyes out. And the next night, 29 minutes, 50 seconds, he's off stage. Sometimes you got to use that to work.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. What he's saying, Fez, is that you can do this. You can force yourself to do this.
Well, I forced myself over the bridges yesterday. Not in the best of fashion. Not in the most graceful of terms, but...
Who cares? There's nobody keeping score but you, bro. You could have fucking actually told the rest of us, hey, I came back from D.C. in 3.5 hours. Brand new record. We'd all go, woo, nice time. No one gives a shit. It's all up to you. This is your movie. You're directing it. You're producing it. You figure out how you want the hero to be. I don't know. I don't think I want the hero in my movie to be screaming and crying because he's lost. I think I want him to go on adventures.
Why don't you try getting lost? I'll be happy to accompany you, but take a drive up to Long Island and just get lost for a couple hours and then come on back.
It's hard to get lost on Long Island. There's one fucking road. You can see the water from either side.
Or South Jersey, something.
It's really, Fuzzy, there's so many highways and everything connects. You could drive from here to Alaska to someone's house. It's really amazing when you think about it. You're fucking connected by concrete. No matter where you want to go. You want to go to Mexico City, you're completely connected by concrete. It's crazy when you think about it.
That is very weird. One of the bad things after my freak out yesterday was even when I was going the right way, it just didn't seem like the right way. There was that, second guessing and third guessing and everything.
Right.
Where it was like, all right, I know I'm going the right direction, but how am I going to screw this up next? And what if this direction that I think is the right direction isn't the right direction?
Right. Okay. I mean, again, that's all in your head. That's all you doing it. You're in charge of that.
That's the problem. Once I get to the pitch, it's hard to unpitch and come back down to where things appear normal again.
One thing to do is not give a fuck. That's one place that you got to be. I don't give a shit what time I get there. You set up this little thing that you got to be somewhere at a certain time. I know you have this thing like your mom's at home waiting for you that you got to be home by dark all the time. He's always telling me, I want to get home before it's dark.
Oh, I totally want to get home before it was dark.
And I'm like, there's no vampires. You're fucking completely safe.
Yeah, if it had gone on longer and it gotten completely dark out there, yeah, I'd still be sitting on the side of the road, I think, at that point.
No, it's not true. Here's Robert. Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if this hurts or helps, but I read in USA Today that 75% of the bridges in the U.S. are in disrepair, so I don't know if that helps Fez or hurts him, man.
I don't think it helps, but thank you.
Doesn't help at all.
I'm sure 75% of the roads are in disrepair. It's not a big deal.
But a road's not going to fall 200 feet.
Why not?
And you will die.
Why not? Most of the time, you're 200 feet off the ground when you're on a major highway. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just used to the Jersey. The turnpike, the Garden State Parkway isn't elevated.
The turnpike is a lot of places.
Yeah, the turnpike is.
So that's
Funny.
a bridge.
That's just so weird to think of it like that.
You need to expand your bridge phobia until it's everything.
What?
That doesn't help.
I want this to become a highway phobia for you.
Take it down the sidewalk.
I didn't know you had a bridge phobia, too.
Yeah, I do. I think it's common. That's why I knew that stat about the Ben Franklin Bridge.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think anyone likes, hey, I'm going to travel over the bridge now, but, you do it.
Yeah, at your own peril, though. That's the point.
Yes, you leave the house at your own peril.
I'm telling you, we're going to hear very soon on the news a bridge collapsing and hundreds die, and then I'll get the last laugh on that one.
Yes.
Funny.
You'll be laughing all the way to the nut hut, you fucking freak. Here's Tony. Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let Fez know, as a fellow heart patient, I'm currently lost. But I popped a Xanax about 40 minutes ago, and I don't really care. This is some beautiful country, and I see a sign for the road I was looking for right ahead. So
maybe the reason why you lost is because you're popping Xanax.
No. I popped the Xanax after I was lost because I was agitated.
Hey, doesn't that make you feel good while you're driving around, knowing that other people are eating Xanax as they're driving?
As that's their road food. Chocolate-covered Xanax.
Why don't you have some Xanax for yourself, Fez, when you get in this pitch?
Well, I don't think I would have taken it while I was driving anyway. But some Xanax would be nice to have on hand. For, like the 60-minute late day, that would have been a perfect example for a Xanax day.
Yeah. Well, you're being written up, and it's going into your permanent file.
What?
That went in the permanent file. Don't even care about it. Just something that's looked at from time to time by the government.
Now I have to get that file back.
No, you can't.
Or find some way to make it up.
Well, it's permanent. It's permanent.
You can have half a Xanax if you're driving, I think.
Yeah, sure, if you don't want to get off. I say do 4 and hit 2 tall boys with it. Tall boy chaser. It's the only way to deal.
Then just start cruising the USA.
Crush them up, put it under your eyelids, so when you're driving around, just slowly dissolves in. Gives you a nice little rush.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know a lot about that.
So what's your fucking point?
No.
Wearing a wire?
I just never heard that before.
I'm telling you. Can you imagine this fucking guy coming in your apartment at 3 o'clock in the morning? Just screams cop. You might as well be wearing a fucking badge.
I ain't no narc.
That's because they don't work with the stupid. If they did, you'd be fine. We'll be right back. Ron and Fez Show.
La madre chingada es lo mejor de Ron y Fez.
Hey, Rob. Rob, you're on the Ron and Fez Show.
What's up, buddies? 276 checking in.
That's some old school. Making a comeback. What's happening, bro?
Ronnie, I wanted to ask you what you thought of the new Replacement song on their Greatest Hits out record. Because I love it, but I can't hear it on XM or radio or anywhere.
All right, you know what? Earl has given me the CD sometime in the past. What is the name of the song, Earl, that's the best of song? Because
the new song is Message to the Boys.
Yeah, Message to the Boys is the new one. So I'm going to tell you the truth, Rob. I haven't heard it, but we'll give it a little spin here and check it out. It rocks. This is the Replacements, and the name of the Greatest Hits package, Earl, is...
it's called Don't You Know Who You Think I Am, the best of the Replacements, available now on Rhino Entertainment.
Yeah, one of the really, really great bands. Every time I attempted to see them live, so drunk off their ass, I could not get into it. I know that's supposed to be all part of the fun, but...
Yeah, it was always feast or famine. They were either drunk or they decided on that particular day not to play their own songs and do like all cover sets and do...
I would have rather had that. All right, Fez, we ready to play this?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's do it. Replacements. right, that's the new Replacements, Fezzy, on the best of stuff. I like it, Earl. It's a nice power pop sound.
It sounds like classic Replacements.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Those, the Replacements were like the great band that kind of never was. They were never fully embraced by the public and probably even the critics. Now, the Observer in England has done a thing, Earl, on the 50 most influential albums all time. Unfortunately, I can see the top of it. And normally with these lists, I don't agree. This time I do. But, Earl, for you, what's the big influential album out there? The album that kind of changed things behind it. Everybody started to follow along.
I'm going to pick an odd one. I'm going to go with Forever Changes by Love.
Oh, that is odd.
Because it influenced just a good cross-section of people. It influenced the Beatles, but it also influenced Led Zeppelin. It influenced... in an odd way, it all influenced some of the people in the alternative country movement for some reason.
And a lot of guitar players started to play guitar like that when they hadn't before.
Yeah, I mean,
so actually not a bad one at all.
But I mean, it's kind of like no one really, like really hardcore music fans know that album and appreciate that album. It's not the first album that'll pop into everyone's head when they say like big albums. They'll say Sgt. Pepper and Beggar's Banquet and like that. But the odd one was always Forever Changes by Love for me.
Let me get Dave's Deep Purple, and then we'll get Fez's Tom Petty album after that. Dave, what is your most influential album?
I would go with Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Because if there was no Pet Sounds, there would be no Sgt. Pepper's, and Sgt. Pepper's then influenced everybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Sgt. Pepper's came in number 2. Pet Sounds came in number 10. And I'm not sure about either one of those. Both great albums. I don't know if they were all that influential. Number 1 on this list is the one that I would have picked, which is the Velvet Underground and Nico, because that album... it kept reflecting back for, decade after decade after decade. The big thing about that album was supposedly whoever heard that album started a band, no matter what happened, because you're able to say to yourself, all right, you don't have to be able to play as good as a studio musician to be able to put out rock and roll.
And it's still influencing bands today.
Thank you, Earl.
I mean, it's just like it influenced, like, say, David Bowie back in '67.
Right.
And then it'll influence a band like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club today, or... a lot of the goth movement was inspired by Velvet Underground because the lyrics were very dark and very adult.
Yeah, here is Michael. Michael, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Ron. That song sounds awfully like the Goo Goo Dolls, I believe.
Well, the Goo Goo Dolls would have to sound like the Replacements.
I know, I'm kidding, God.
Came around so far behind. He goes, I'm kidding, God, like I fucking know the guy. Like, oh, normally I get your sense of humor.
Well, the Goo Goo Dolls, they said right out they were influenced by the Replacements, and Paul Westerberg co-wrote a song with the Goo Goo Dolls, too.
Here's Paul. Paul, you're on Fez.
Hey, I want to ask Earl something. Who do you think is better, Husker Du or the Replacements?
Earl, throw it out there.
I would say Replacements. Better songs. Much better songs.
Replacements... Paul McCartney could have written a lot of those songs. So many of those songs, I don't understand why they didn't become big radio hits. They were very fucking hooky, very catchy. And I'm not a guy who hates pop music. I know a lot of people act like if it's pop, it's awful, but I don't think it can be easy to write a good pop song. Hey, Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, man.
My album, Exile on Main Street by the Stones, without question.
All right, great album, but how was it influential?
It got me to be a better singer.
Yeah, but that's just for you. But for overall, it's got to have an effect for good or bad. If you really look at it, some of the early disco stuff that was real underground stuff changed music for maybe the worst, but for a long time to come.
I always think of the Giorgio Moroder productions of the early Donna Summer records.
Right.
That I remember. I saw this clip of Bowie saying he heard. Brian Eno comes running into the studio one day, going, "This is the future of music. This is fantastic." It was "I Feel Love" by Donna Summer.
Is that right?
Yeah, and Brian Eno said this is the best thing he's ever heard.
That's always strange. Pitsy, you wanted to jump in here? I see you waving around.
I was just looking at this list.
Was it Mario Lanza? Is that what you wanted to throw in?
Jerry Vale, no. They have the Spice Girls at number 21. I know this list is from England.
Yeah.
But you can't put that above Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, in terms of influential, doesn't mean that it has to be for good. But what bands kind of came up sounding like the new Pink Floyd? Doesn't really happen. I don't know if Pink Floyd, from maybe a technical standpoint, influential, but no one has kind of picked up the Pink Floyd sound. Whereas Spice Girls, that restarted the whole pop thing with boy bands and girl bands and all that shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that was the beginning of, like, Britney Spears or an NSYNC.
Right.
That's maybe why they put it. Now I'm understanding better.
And, of course, when you look at these things from England, the English music thing changes and they pay way more attention to it than we do here in the States. Here is Jeff. Jeff, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on, Ron and Fez?
Yeah.
Hey, what about Police? Regarding the block, what they brought to the music scene?
Was that the new one, the first one, I mean?
Yeah.
And what do you think that influenced from that point on?
Well, it definitely brought the reggae back into music, and the mixture of punk rock. They kind of transitioned the whole punk stage into rock and roll, I think.
All right. Yeah, they kind of had white boy reggae, white boy pop. I guess there was some influence to that, Earl.
But there was no real ripple effect. No one, I think outside of the band The Outfield, no one really tried to cop that sound at all.
You know, the ska seemed like an awful lot like what the Police were doing there for a while. But it really didn't last long. Kurt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was thinking, what about Nirvana and Nevermind? That kind of influenced a whole style of music.
Now, I'm looking on this list. I don't see it anywhere. Do you, Earl?
It's 47.
47? Is that low? So...
out of the 50. Maybe
it wasn't as big in England as it was here, but it really did. That album changed radio in this country, and it made careers, but it also ruined careers. Where people who... after that album went out, they started knocking around until finally they started a supergroup called Supernova. They fell that far.
I remember one of my first producing jobs in radio was the metal show.
Mm-hmm.
And when that album came out, we used to have all these hair bands come up. You could sense the dread. when Nevermind came out, it was like, man, this is really raw, and it was like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this.
They knew it was time.
They knew it was over.
Well, it was the first time punk music kind of got real radio play. You know what I mean? I mean, that would have been considered a punk band if it would have been, 5-10 years earlier.
Yeah, and it had like just such great mass appeal too. Everyone just really jumped into it immediately.
Yeah, it is true. It was just gigantic album.
And a naked baby on the CD cover.
Chris, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
How you boys doing today?
Yeah.
Hey, I got one Joy Division Substance. Is that on the list there?
Joy Division, and out of that whole scene, I don't know, they have the Stone Roses, which was about the same time, right, Earl?
That was a little bit later. It was like late 80s, early 90s, Stone Roses, when they really popped. But Joy Division was
Joy Division on here.
Joy Division was like early 80s.
Yeah.
That was kind of the kickoff of, I think, the Manchester
Yeah,
scene.
the whole house music, weirdness. So I would have agreed with it, not there. Tommy V, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, 5327.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks, man. I would have to say Black Sabbath in the early years. I mean, they produced a sound that was just, first of all, it was people were frightened by it, and then after that, I mean, that just, that got huge in regards to, heavy metal, if you want to call it all different kinds of metal.
Yeah, the first Black Sabbath album.
Yeah, the first one, man.
Finished 34. That was an incredibly influential album, which people forget that sound didn't even exist before, and it's never went away ever since. There's always been some kind of a heavy metal scene since Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I mean, every really heavy band will go like, the first 4 Sabbath albums, that's my template of what I wanted it to sound like. Had the guitars tuned down really low, doom and gloom lyrics, right down to crucifixes and leather, whole look.
We're going back 30-some years now, and still, in that 30-some years of that scene, not one woman has ever been into it. Here is Mike. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
buddies.
Yeah, buddy.
Just wanted to see if anybody had mentioned Jane's Addiction yet.
Jane's Addiction. Let's take a look on this list here. By the way, this is the Observer. I get so sick of lists, and yet they end up on the show. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't see it on there. It was big because of the whole Lollapalooza scene, too, in this country. I mean, I honestly think that those guys did a lot for saving the rock thing in the United States.
Yeah, they not only saved it, they just helped mobilize it all, because it was really scattered as well.
But you know what? Here's what I mean by saving, is where they open their arms again, like with Lollapalooza, instead of acting like, here's what your sound has to be. The cool thing about Lollapalooza was, it's a big table, it's a big tent, everybody come in, and if you don't like the next band, the next one's coming up in 35 minutes.
I mean, it ran the gamut from like a Smashing Pumpkins to Ice Cube. It
Absolutely. I mean, to have black rappers on bills with white rock guys was really considered daring at the time. It was a really big deal.
And they would collaborate. Sometimes the collaborations would happen on stage. Sometimes it happened on record. I mean, the boundaries were that there were no boundaries, and then that was a cool thing, and it helped really kind of bring rock back to young people, because at that time, remember, all the 40-somethings came back, like late 80s, like all the older guys were making these big comebacks. They cleaned up their act.
You know, it still is the same way now. I mean, it's still the biggest touring band are still the classic rock bands, way more than anything else. That if you're really going to look at people playing stadiums, they're in their 50s and 60s. Homer, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. I'm 53 years old, and I listen to you guys every day, and I think back to Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited.
Well, what they have at number 8, Bob Dylan Bringing It All Back Home, which is even earlier, right, Earl?
Yeah, that was the album before.
That's earlier than that. I can't believe Dave's old enough to even talk about the Beach Boys.
Well, you know, the thing is, and he's not, but music is out there where guys like Pitsy's know a lot of the music from the 60s and 70s and stuff, that guys that didn't grow up in that time, the music is still there. I mean, it's like acting like, you know, books. You're not suddenly acting, you're not part of the thing of Hemingway. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's before your time. You should have read Hemingway.
Although Beach Boys is one of the few bands Dave doesn't have tattooed on him somewhere.
I'm working on it, though. Hey, Brian Wilson.
You love the Beach Boys that much?
I mean, not as much as the Beatles, but their album Pet Sounds is, oh my God, what a masterpiece.
I got two problems with the Beach Boys.
Okay.
Mike Love. I honestly fucking believe he's the type of guy that had to smack the fucking grin off his face. There's something about him that gets on my nerves. I always liked all the Wilson boys. Pet Sounds, I am going to agree with you. Fantastic fucking album, but...
Tim. And he always fought tooth and nail with Brian. He fought over Pet Sounds. He fought over Smile.
Any of the good shit, yeah.
He was like, hey, let's do songs about girls and cars. That's what they want.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of garbage. Here's Brian. Brian, you're on Fez.
Ronnie.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, man, what about the Grateful Dead? They did this whole jam band scene that's going on. It might not be as popular as everybody thinks, but a lot of people are digging it.
You know, did anybody see that... what's the woman that you always make fun of for the Republican one, Fez?
Ann Coulter?
Ann Coulter went out with Bob Weir, and they had a big party together. And Ann Coulter's like, why is it so odd that I'm a Republican deadhead? And the Republicans, the ones that would be pro-marijuana, let people do what they want. I'm like, fuck you, take the dead. Go ahead, put the dead in your fucking knapsack and take them.
She's so creepy looking. She's got to look like someone's acid trip vision.
I do think the Dead were influential, though, because then you have bands like today, like Dave Matthews or Fish.
Yeah, they definitely have been influential for the worse.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen Dave Matthews 15 times in concert, and it just got better and better for me.
How?
I don't know. It just was. It's an experience.
Huh.
It's better than maybe seeing, like, a fucking Britney Spears where she does the same show every night. You know, at least you know you're getting something different.
I don't know. I don't know which one I'd pick if I had to. If I really was thinking about Britney and Dave Matthews, walking in, I might pick Britney. You know why? I think a little more integrity.
And the Dead, they'll be the first to admit that more often than not, they didn't make particularly good records. You know what I mean? They always were better on stage.
There's like two, and they weren't particularly good on stage either. There's about 2 albums that are pretty fucking strong. Other than that, you're struggling with them. Dennis, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hello?
Oh, Denise, go ahead, darling.
Hey, how are you? I wanted to say that I think The Unforgettable Fire by U2 should be up there. I mean, the first time I heard the opening licks to Sort of Homecoming, I never listened to music the same again.
Well, when we're saying influential, it's not just for you or me personally. It's about other bands. So it is difference between saying influential and this was a great album or this was a great band. You're talking about it had to go out and change the way things were done after that. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Hey, Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody had mentioned the Talking Heads yet and how they influenced a lot of bands.
The Talking Heads are on the list somewhere. Freedom Music comes in at 44. The Talking Heads, Earl, would you say that was the first time that they go, all right, we can't really call this band punk, they're new wave?
Yeah, because they were too smart, too dorky. They did everything.
Too clean. There was a very clean sound, too. So they may have been considered the first new wave band, even though they don't sound like a lot of other new wave bands, but they had to be put somewhere.
I'm surprised they put Fear Music on there. I would have put Remain in Light, which is an unbelievable record, and really flipped the script.
I would have did more songs about buildings and food, only because it's one of my favorite titles all time. Here is Grover. Grover, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how about The Clash, either London Calling or Sandinista?
The Clash is on this list. You know where they popped up, Earl?
Number 18 with London Calling.
London Calling, 18. Great band. Excellent band. Here's Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how about Buddy Holly? He brought the blues in and actually started rock and roll. Brought it from the black people over to the white people and really started the whole thing.
I think just the opposite. I don't really see him bringing the blues in, but he did kind of bring instrumental music into rock and roll, where he was, I think, the first one that started going, I could use an orchestra in the background.
Yeah, he brought a real sense of production to it. He brought in, you had the initial sound, which is 2 guitars, bass, and drums. That's the basic formula for a rock band. Yeah. But then he added like strings and the xylophone.
And again, people initially didn't like that at all. They were initially going, "What are you doing? You're ruining it. You're turning it into something. This isn't rock and roll." But in hindsight, that is really influential.
Yeah, and he brought songwriting, like a real sense of songwriting to it. Let's tell a story, in 2.5 to 3 minutes.
All right, let's go over the top 10 here. Beach Boys, Pet Sound, Elvis Presley, Bob Dylan, Bringing It All Back Home, Patti Smith, Horses, one of my favorite albums of all time. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, one of my favorite albums all time. Robert Johnson, King of the Delta Blues Singers. This album never goes away. Did he only record something like 14 or 18 songs in his life?
29.
29? And every one of those songs has been covered by other people.
Yeah, everything. And all the time. Cassandra Wilson, who's a jazz singer, she did half an album of Robert Johnson covers.
NWA, Straight Outta Compton. We were just talking about this, yesterday?
Yeah.
Great album. Really shocked the shit out of everybody. Kraftwerk at number 3. Trans-Europe Express. Never worked for me. You were big into that, right, Earl? You're the prod rock boy.
I loved Kraftwerk, and it was a big hit on black radio. Black radio loved Kraftwerk.
Really?
They played the big station here in New York, the big urban station, WBLS, played Trans-Europe Express like it was going out of style. It was just an amazing record.
Here is Beatles, number 2, then The Velvet Underground, and Nico, number 1. That was an album that sold something like 30,000 copies when it came out. But it's probably sold that many copies every year for the rest of until the end of the world. The cool kid in town will always fucking know that album, whether it was in the 60s or today. Here is Big Bill. Big Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what about The Chronic?
I love that album.
Whole new level of production, man, for rap.
That was such a great album. I honestly thought hip-hop and rap were going to get over in those days, Earl.
Me too.
I go, maybe it's better than I thought.
Even the skits were funny.
Funny stuff. Here is Ben. Ben, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I got Roxy Music's first record because it's the first time people took an ironic stance towards rock music.
They put David Bowie, Rise and Fall and Ziggy Stardust. So most of the time when people line that up, they put Roxy Music behind David Bowie, and they always, put Roxy Music in with Queen and Mott the Hoople and Slade and all that kind of shit. They never get their own little part of the tree. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Hey, Norman, you're Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, man? How about Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil?
You know what? I mean, if you're going to look at influential, I'd have to put them behind a lot of the other metal bands. And who would really be considered the person who kind of went into that 80s hair rock, Earl? What band would you give that to? Because it could be the Crew.
But even they admitted they never made particularly good records. They were better a live band.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue was a really solid, influential record where they kind of balanced everything out between.
But that was almost the end for them,
That was the ultimate peak for them.
Yeah, that was like the peak for them.
And then it completely died out. But even the band will admit, like the first couple of records, they weren't really particularly proud of.
So many of those guys, they wanted to get fucked up before they made their albums. Most of the times, you should wait a couple albums before you start acting like I can't be woken up for the session. Where even Axl and Slash and those guys were a fucking mess before their first album.
GNR, though, I think Appetite is the preeminent rock album of the 80s.
I know that you love them.
And probably the most influential album that it took years for people to be influenced by them, because around that period you had Nirvana and Pearl Jam, but I think in the late 90s you saw a lot of bands that are hard rock but had that glam vibe going.
First of all, it was just the opposite. When that album came out, all the hair bands stopped blowing their hair. One of the things that they stopped doing was using their blow dryers, because Axl stopped. The weird thing is, they were one of those bands before that album. Yeah. They were, when they played the Strip, they were just fucking teasing their hair out like girls.
Yeah, look at the video to Welcome to the Jungle when he had his hair all the way blown out like this and bordering on makeup and lipstick. He was a little glammed out.
But that's the only video that he has the big hair. It's the only video. I mean, besides that.
But I mean, if you ever see any of the stuff that they were doing on the Strip before, they were a fucking hair metal band.
But I think you're seeing bands now, like for instance, the Strokes have put Slash in their video, one of their videos, because I think a lot of bands have that gang mentality again. The way GNR had it, maybe better than any band ever.
The Who? The Who, The Clash, these were gangs as bands. And I will agree that Guns N' Roses had it, but they didn't invent it.
The Who beat the shit out of each other.
The Kinks were a gang as a band. The Rolling Stones, that was a gang as a band. To me, and I also thought that first album was great, but I thought that they were doing the Stones more than anybody, GNR. I thought it was a real Stones influence.
I always kind of thought people underestimated the Sex Pistols' influence on GNR. I mean, I definitely see them as a hard rock
as a band.
No, just even some of their riffs and stuff. I just thought they were. It's one of the best albums. It's the best album ever. It's the best album ever.
What is?
GNR, Appetite for Destruction.
Because the way you're talking about the Sex Pistols, it seems like that's where you were going with it. So I had to stop and say who. Because when you're on the show saying they and he, no one knows who you're talking about.
Guns N' Roses.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Jamie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, how's it going?
Yeah.
What about Johnny Cash being an influential artist?
Well, we're talking just about albums, not artists. And, most of those country guys they were more like singles artists more than anything. They would all do filler. They would all do each other's songs. They had no problem covering a song that was a hit that second. If you ever look at with some of those Chris Christopherson songs, they were recorded by 40 artists in 2 years. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. You're busting my. I think you're doing it on purpose now. You're just ball busting. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys.
Yeah.
I was thinking, though, even though Nirvana was a bigger band, probably Pearl Jam's 10, I think, had a bigger influence on the alternative scene.
Well, it was a great album. It's hard to be the influence when you're second, though. That's the problem. You really have to do something unique, and when people hear that unique thing before you, and I don't care who did what first, whatever comes out and grabs the public first is what's going to be considered unique.
Well, Nirvana was definitely first, but I agree with Mike that I do think, because for one reason and only, Eddie Vedder, his vocal stylings, anytime you hear a modern rock band right now, they all sing like Eddie Vedder, all lead singers, so many of them, whether it's Creed or whether it's the guy from Stained, or there's 100 bands you could list.
You're right, all those bands do remind me of fucking Pearl Jam. You should be very, very proud of that.
No, but they're a shitty man's Pearl Jam, is what I'm trying to say.
The shitty man.
Which is really the shitty man's Nirvana.
No, Nirvana never had guitar solos, Mr. B.
Don, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was going to say Aerosmith's album with when they did the Run DMC remake.
That wasn't Aerosmith's album, that was Run DMC.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Well, all right, my bad.
And people have a tendency to remember the video, not the... I mean, that was just taking a hook from Aerosmith, putting it into a song, and those guys I don't think met each other to the video.
No, actually it was the exact opposite. He redid the riff for Run DMC, because they were, people forget Aerosmith at that point, they were at the
They were done. They weren't even together anymore. They had broken up.
Yeah, they were.
But what I'm saying, that was a Run DMC song that they were doing on stage, and then they pulled Aerosmith in for that video.
That's true.
So it's not like Aerosmith went out of their way to pick up rap music. They were fucking the ones drowned and reaching out. Here is Craig. Craig, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Fez, this is kind of an oldie but goodie, the old Rocky Horror Picture Show album.
Well, I mean, to me, that was all Bowie. That whole thing sounded like David Bowie. It was David Bowie meets Broadway. It's still around. I was watching VH1 the other day. All-time greatest soundtracks, they gave that number one. Again, a fucking crazy list. I'm so sick of lists.
How would you quantify that? Like,
I wouldn't.
Soundtracks for that movie, or just actual soundtracks, songs that are played on the thing? In other words, like a Goodfellas.
They did it both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's still ridiculous.
Why? What's ridiculous about it?
Well, for original music, I would choose Nightmare Before Christmas, the brilliant movie about, You
mean for a score?
Because it is original music in Rocky Horror.
And then for a soundtrack, I would choose either Goodfellas or American Graffiti. Wall-to-wall music, man.
So what you're saying, to you, a soundtrack is already pop hits thrown together.
A collection of songs.
Well, here's the problem with Goodfellas, is that they did not even put those songs together. He went back and grabbed it from a certain time period, where a lot of has been done, where somebody will go and find 8 to 10 new songs. If you take something like even Footloose, he went out and found 5 songs that went into the top 10. It wasn't like going what they did in Goodfellas of reaching back and grabbing a Clapton hit from, 1970.
Yeah, because now they have these albums called like music inspired by like the Dead Man Walking soundtrack, which is unbelievable movie and unbelievable soundtrack. Basically, they gave these artists like, hey, here's the theme. We're doing this movie about a guy who's on death row, and that was all they gave him.
And that's a lot different than having to be able to do like American Graffiti. Oh, reach back and grab every great hit from 58 to 62.
It doesn't matter. It fits the movie.
Not necessarily. Well, but it may, but A, I think I could do that one. But B, one of the problems with that is it's not always true, because a lot of that stuff that they act like they're listening to in American Graffiti or in the movie Diner didn't really make radio in those days. Well, they'll play some really fucking cool songs where Top 40 at that time was playing really cheesy fucking songs. So it's still cheating, still making a perfect world for you.
You can make like an exception maybe to like a Tarantino for like he'll pull out, let's say, I Got You by Joe Tex, but he'll find, like, Little Green Bag, which I would have never heard of. He always
Does Tarantino grab his own music for that?
I think on Reservoir Dogs he did, and then I think with the rest, with like a Kill Bill or something, it was kind of a collective.
Because he always has really interesting, cool shit on there. It would be like a really great gig to, and Scorsese I'll say the same thing for. But that's not the same as coming up with new music.
Yeah, like even like during the whole grunge period, they were trying to do that with
Singles.
Singles was a great, one of my favorite soundtracks ever. And what was the other? Judgment Night, a movie nobody saw, but had this amazing soundtrack, and they collaborated alternative guys with hip hop guys.
You know, I think RonFez.net did something on that before, where they go soundtracks that were actually better than the movie. And there is a lot of movies that you can fall in love with because of the soundtrack. I mean, look at Boogie Nights, where you've taken so many cheesy fucking 70s songs that you would have hated to hear in the radio on the radio at the time, and he fucking blows the doors in with that. It's really pretty amazing how he uses that with the visuals.
Like, what was that song? Brand New Key?
Right.
Like,
Melanie,
which is, I think it's an awful song, but in context of what was going on in the movie, it's perfect.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I mean, he goes through all kinds of stuff like that to really actually make it work. I'll tell you, Wes Anderson does a really great job with this really sliver of English music that only lasted a couple years and never has been popular. And those fucking songs match his movies perfectly.
And he'll find, like, let's say even a band like the Kinks, he'll find this obscure Kinks song that, you know, nobody knows, but it's cool and it perfectly fits the film.
And the Stones. He chose 2000 Man for the ending of Bottle Rocket, and I've never, ever heard that song on the radio. And it's one of the best Stone songs ever.
But if you look at it, it's from the exact era, the exact age of the Faces and all the other bands that he's playing. So for some reason, he's into this really odd little period of English music, and it's perfect.
What was it? Was that the end of Rushmore where he played Ooh La La by the Faces?
Yeah.
Which, you know, a song you've heard a million times, but it just, I'm like, and everyone's like humming the song as they're walking out of the theater.
Well, look at that. I mean, it's really weird the way that will change your perception of a song. The Derek and the Dominoes thing, anytime I hear that song, I think of that guy hanging up in a meat fucking locker. It is in my mind as if the fact that that song wasn't out for 20 years before the music. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Here is Bill. Bill, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey.
Hey, Singles is definitely the best soundtrack ever. You got Alice in Chains, Paul Westerberg, Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam. It just goes on and on.
Well, you know, the guy who put that together actually likes music. Cameron Crowe fucking loves music. And that last film that he did, I thought the film stunk, but the music was great. What's the one where the guy runs through Kentucky like an idiot?
Elizabethtown?
Yeah, terrible movie.
The music on Vanilla Sky.
When I saw Elizabethtown, I got up 40 minutes in. I yelled, "This stinks!" And I tried to get all the other critics to follow me out. I go, "Come on, we're leaving, everyone."
You're pulling a seagull.
Same thing with Vanilla Sky for Cameron Crowe.
Vanilla Sky, great music in it. Terrible movie.
Unbelievable music.
Almost Famous, great music, great movie.
Yeah. Well, Stillwater, what a great band.
What are you gonna do? What are you
Fever
gonna do?
Dog.
Fever Dog to me sounds like every Foghat meets Heart song that happened right there. And Mikey, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I can't believe it, but I actually agree with Dave. Appetite for Destruction is the best rock album.
We've moved on from there. We're talking about, now we've moved on to soundtracks that are better than the movies. And anybody who agrees with Dave knows to throw the fucking show off a little bit.
Casino, you know, it's a good movie. I have some my problems with it, but the soundtrack, holy shit. Devo covering the Rolling Stones Satisfaction. I mean, just endless. The Animals are in there. Unbelievable soundtrack.
Again, Marty Scorsese always does a great job.
I thought they used Devo in the coked out scene in Goodfellas too, where when he's driving his car and looking up at
they used Stone's Monkey Man for that scene where he's...
Yeah, there's snippets of all these other songs. At one point he's playing Muddy Waters' Manish Boy while he's doing a hit.
Oh. Norm, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Guy Ritchie always uses good soundtracks, like The Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Fantastic soundtrack.
Guy Ritchie wants to be Tarantino. He wants to be Scorsese. He's the British version of that. Cow, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Buddies.
Hey, my buddy.
Hey, what's up? Somebody made a statement about Dave Matthews Band a little bit ago, and I just want to say that they're a fucking kick-ass band, and that their live performance is just amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're so great. Everybody in my frat loves them. We all love them. And that's why, I mean, we'll even put up with black people just to watch that great, great show.
You can't say any band that has an acoustic guitar and a violin in it is kick-ass. No.
I'd just like to say that I'm a fan of Dave Matthews' music, but, like, I'm a musician, and I understand, like, how music gets created and, like, his creativity behind it.
Yeah, go get your oboe, my fucking artist friend.
Part of the problem. Those concerts are awful. It's just a bunch of little ditzy teeny boppers running around because they get to smoke a marijuana
Fitz,
joint.
you going to take
Awful.
this shit?
Well, no.
He's calling you a ditzy teeny bopper.
The fucking guy put 100,000 people into Central Park.
What's that
Oh,
mean?
what? Garth Brooks did that.
So what?
What do you mean, so what?
So what?
One of Dave's faggot tattoo bands couldn't do that.
You know what? I mean, then let's fucking say Britney Spears was the greatest artist of the 90s. You're not just going to go but what the fucking Ham and Eggers love, or let's hand the Oscar over right now to fucking Pirates.
Yeah, but you got to be there to experience it. It was just like you said with the Dead. Their album sucked, but their live performance changed everything.
But let me tell you something. I don't have to have AIDS to fucking know I don't want it. I would feel the same way if I went to that show.
Now, if you think Pink Floyd couldn't sell at Central Park, you're mistaken. Pits.
Please, can I just beg you not to fucking bring up Pink Floyd constantly,
All right.
and not to act like you're in the band. You're not.
I'd like to be.
Although you are pink.
Here is Paul. Paul, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how about Heavy Metal? That soundtrack was way better than the movie.
Thank you very much. Remember that cartoon, Heavy Metal, Earl, from the 80s?
Great soundtrack, brutal movie.
Yeah, didn't even make even the slightest bit of sense. I don't know what it was supposed to be about. There was some little metal thing that was going from place to place, and then all of a sudden it was a music video in a cartoon form. Very, very odd. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. My favorite thing that the kid who plays the oboe said, as a musician, as an artist, I would just like to say.
Oye, vato, es lo mejor de Ron y Fez.
A Christian group in New Zealand called Family Integrity, they have now put out an 8-page booklet urging parents to smack their kids and how to do it.
Smack My Bitch Up is the name of it, or you can also get it under bustthat.ass.com. Bust that ass. So the Christians in New Zealand are saying that the parents aren't hitting enough or not hitting right?
Not hitting right, not hitting enough, and are fighting to make sure they get to keep their right to smack.
I think, I probably am a little aggressive about this, but I think if a kid is bad, you don't just smack. You got to punch him in the ear hole, then you throw that bike down into a ditch.
That's not going to make a kid learn, Ron.
Well, to keep him from coming back out again, you won't be hanging around that 7-Eleven with the rest of those losers.
So they've got guidelines to smacking from Family Integrities. This is their recommendations on discipline.
Yeah.
Smacking does as much good for the child and for you.
Mm-hmm.
Smack leaves the offense forever in the past.
Right. You put it behind you.
No, see, I don't agree with that one.
Sure, you do. The smack, it's over quick, where if it's all that time out, now you're still dealing with it. Whereas if it's just a quick smack, hey, now what you got? Boom, it's behind you.
Grounding, giving children time out, making them stand in the corner, that does not deal with the problem of sin in the heart. So these children are sinful, according to Family Integrity, and the sin has to be smacked out of them.
Interesting.
Smacking may be a 10 to 15-minute process.
Wow.
So
you could kill some small kids with that.
So there's 10 to 15 minutes. That's going to feel like a lifetime to a kid getting smacked.
Well, anybody. 10 or 15 minutes of getting hit, that's fucking rough. I mean, you could be a heavyweight and being hit for 15 minutes.
Just poke someone. Keep poking them for 15 minutes. It's awful.
Are you breaking up the smacks with small kissing and licks?
I don't think there's any kissing or licking, but you probably are breaking up the smacks. It says here, be prepared to call in witnesses for cross-examination. So I guess that's like other playmates or brothers and sisters to see who did what? The child must comply with your direction to hold completely still while you administer the spanking to the clothed bottom of the child.
Clothed bottom. There they are. They're moving ahead in the world.
So
instead of that bare ass like Earl used to get it.
So there it starts to sound a little bit sexual, where you have to have the kid hold completely still.
Well, still, so he's not moving around. You're not going to end up smacking a kidney or something, Fez.
Give them the chance to get rid of their rebelliousness before administering another smack.
Interesting.
So that may be where the 10 to 15-minute window comes in. And then finally, when children challenge you, you must win conclusively.
Do you disagree with that one, Fez?
I completely disagree with this.
I'll tell you what, I do agree with the last one, though. When a kid challenges you, you have to win completely.
You can win completely. You don't have to do it with smacking.
Right. But you're saying that you have to find some way of being in charge with these kids.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you have to do. I mean, what else are you going to do? Some kids are going to need a fucking whack every once in a while.
See, I just do not believe in the smacking. I can't believe these people even call it smacking in their guidelines.
What would you like them to call it?
I would assume they would call it discipline or physical punishment.
What do you want them to call it? Abuse?
That's what it is. That's what they should call it.
Well, I mean, there can be abuse when you hit. There can be abuse when you yell. There can be abuse with everything. This fucking pussified world we live in right now. But you got to be careful with some of these kids. They're out of fucking control.
Like 10 to 15 minutes?
15 minutes is insane Christian talk. That's too long.
A lifetime.
My thing is this. If you're going to hit a kid, you have to hit them out of anger. You have to do it when your head's completely, or else you just come off like a Nazi, and it's just too insane.
If you hit them out of anger, then you don't know how hard you're hitting them.
Here is Jay. Jay, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what you got to do is take away the kid's stuff. I think I was back in 5th grade or something like that. I forged a note at school, but I didn't have the balls to hand it in. The teacher called my parents. They came in for a meeting. They said, "Where's that note?" I went, "Oh, shit." So I ran to my locker. I got the thing out. I went, "Oh, man." I ripped off the name off the bottom. As I was doing that, I got caught ripping the name off. So my parents brought me home, got a couple whoops upside the head from my dad, and he took my prized possession of my world, which was my skateboard at that time. Any money I had went toward that thing. It was all of my money, and he cut it in half in front of me with a circular saw. And I got grounded in my room for the rest of the summer, and he screwed it to the wall above my bed, and I wasn't allowed to take it down.
Now, Fez, you feel better about this. You don't think that this is abuse to steal the child's possessions and destroy their property?
Yeah, I consider that abuse as well. To destroy his favorite thing in front of him because he screwed up? It's ridiculous.
But what would you do to a kid?
I would maybe take the skateboard away, but I wouldn't destroy it or keep it away forever.
But you do have to have some kind of rules. Your way is, I don't want anything bad to happen to kids. What you're trying to do is set them up to live in a world where bad things can happen. So you got to teach them a little bit. You don't have any rules for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would do timeouts. I would do grounding. I would take stuff away, like video games.
What happens when they start swinging at you? Why that's happening? What happens when they won't sit in their timeout?
Well, I don't see where...
So what I'm trying to tell you is, you think that all kids were like you when you were younger. They're not. There's a lot of fucking kids out of there that are out of control.
But is a smack going to help an already angry, violent child?
No, put him in his fucking place and teach him where to be angry and violent at.
I just think you're going to make him more angry, more violent.
It's not like it doesn't happen in the world when you grow up. You just don't go around to fucking put your hands on people without being smacked. Somebody puts their fucking hands on me today, I'm going to fucking smack them. So they better learn it at home. Here is Jamie. Jamie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't we retitle that book on how to keep our women in line and smack the ladies a little bit?
Well, you know, that used to be it. Have you ever heard the term rule of thumb, Fez? That was, it meant that you couldn't hit your woman with a stick any thicker than your thumb. You had the stick could not be anything. So if you're dating and you're thinking about getting married, you're a woman, you really want a guy with not too big of thumbs. Because there's some fucking guys out there who are going to end up hitting you with a gigantic stick.
Maybe a guy who's been in a saw accident.
Here is Maddie. Maddie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddies.
Yeah.
I completely agree with getting slapped around frequently. I mean, I'm only 22, and from the age of like 8 to 12, I was slapped around quite a bit. But I mean, it straightened me out. And even now, I look at my friends, and you can just tell the ones that were hit and the ones that weren't hit, because they're running around like idiots, basically. I mean, they don't see the final authority in things. They don't see what could happen if you're doing some stupid shit or just acting like an ass.
All right, let me throw this back to you, Fez. Here's a guy who says he was spanked by his parents. He was smacked a little bit, and it worked out for him. What do you say to him?
I'm saying that he probably would have worked out anyway. His parents didn't need to hit him.
So
and it's not, you know,
so
like...
parenting doesn't matter one way or another. The kids are just going to be however they want to be.
I think a lot of that's true.
And good kids just tend to grow up to be good kids, and bad kids tend up to be bad. And no matter what parenting you do, it doesn't matter one way or another.
I don't think it's completely doesn't matter, but I think people grow up differently.
Exactly, which is why you can't have one set of rules. You can't have the set of rules that the Christians are set up. Here's how you live. And you can't have your one set of rules where nobody gets spanked.
Well, with this set of rules that this family integrity is setting up, they throw out any sort of non-physical punishment. They go right for the smack.
I agree. You're never going to see me lining up on the side of the Christians. At the same time, Fez, I can't line up with you where any smack at all is abuse. It has to be handled differently with each kid. And there's a lot of fucking kids out there, particularly now, I think even more than when I was younger, that are fucking batshit crazy. And I see them all the time. I see people hitting their parents when I'm out. And you know why the parents don't hit back, Fez?
Why?
Afraid. They're afraid of the government. I was walking through Manhattan not too long ago. Italian guy, 2 Italian kids. Italian kid started to say something, and they're talking in Italian. The old man slaps him right across the face. I'm walking by, I go, hey, my man, you can fucking go to jail for that in this country. Don't think because that's your kid, they're going to let you get away with it. You know, this is proper behavior in Italy. You're living in a fucking crazy town now. Well, they'll fucking throw, that fucking father will spend 2 days in jail for something that's normal in his home.
Yeah, and may end up losing the kid over it.
Well, I don't know if you can take away foreigners' kids. I'm not sure whether we can pull that off. Here is Kevin. Kevin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, when's the proper age to kind of strike back? Because for me, it was about 13. I got my ass beat.
13 when you hit back? I think you got to
yeah.
go up 15 or 16 before you're going to take on a full-grown man, and then your odds of winning, he better really be drunk before you can pull it off. Here is Justin. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I got to say, I completely agree with Ron. You know, kids are bastards these days. I mean, me, myself, I'm a young guy. I'm 22. And, you know, my parents had their way with me. They slapped me around a little bit, but there's a line you don't want to cross, you know?
You don't want to put the kid in the hospital, and no one's saying that. I say you can't take anything off the fucking table. In a negotiation, you've got to leave everything on the table. It doesn't mean that you have to hit them every time they're bad. But they fucking have to see that you're a serious person.
I mean, can't raising your voice show that you're serious, or a punishment that's enforced show that you're a serious person?
I'm going to say with 90% of the kids, yeah. Probably, yeah. If they think you'll back it up. What happens when you don't? Because I see parents screaming at kids all the time. And I see kids screaming back. Because they don't fucking believe what these people are saying. They just don't believe them. And because the kids are smart. The kids are smart, and they're going to get away with any of us will do, is get away with whatever we can.
Yeah, I'm not saying be a weak parent whatsoever, let the kids run amok.
What do? You don't have anything to do when they do run amok. Your idea is to tell them to sit down.
Yeah.
And then what happens when they don't?
Well, then you increase the punishment.
Increase it how?
You
They
take
are
some
not,
of their stuff away or something.
Fez, you're acting like you're going to get away with this stuff. You are not going to get away with it. You haven't thought this thing out.
Kids always push. I mean, kids are a lot smarter than people give them credit for.
Humans always push.
Yeah, they'll keep pushing. It's like, how far can I go? How far can I go? How far can I go? If you establish that the end result is someone's going to go upside your head, that's...
So you're actually for punching them in the head. You go that far. Slap them right across that head.
No, maybe it was just...
You'll fucking loosen the brainstem if you need to.
When I was growing up, nothing was more humiliating than just a good old-fashioned, as the Southern people used to call it, a whipping. Just getting with a belt just across the ass or whatever. It was humiliating.
Bare ass?
No, not bare ass, but because my father had one of those big old leather belts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, basically cut through wood, practically.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel you were abused?
Not at all.
See, that's what the weirdness here with Fez. You got spanked. You felt you were abused.
Yeah.
And you've talked this over with your shrink.
Right.
Shrink said you were abused.
Yes.
See, I got smacked. I never thought I was abused. Earl never thought he was abused. It's almost like we have different maps of the world here about what abuse is.
With the perception. And, of course, mine was a lot of screaming and yelling, too.
I call that life.
And I used to get, like, the double one because our mother would beat us, and then, like, my father would come home from work, see how upset she was. He goes, I had to whip the boys today. That would make him angry, and he'd beat us all over again.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the hell happened here?
Because he just wanted to, like, he always felt like I'm not losing control of my house, that whole deal.
Right.
So
this ain't happening.
Yeah, this is not...
Because he's working day and night, and coming home, and you guys are acting like fucking maniacs. Nicole, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Cool.
My parents never beat me, but I had two older sisters, and if we did something wrong, it was like, yeah, just go play with your sisters, and then, they'd beat the crap out of you. But it was like prison rules, because if you snitched, you got beat on worse.
So your parents would deal by having the older sisters give you a beat down?
Yeah, pretty much.
What a crazy... All right, where are you from, honey?
I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh, sure.
I love you guys. You're hilarious.
All right, thank you very much, honey.
Her parents would put her out on an ice floe.
Sure. They would take away her pelts. Kevin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Buzzy.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was a kid, my mom used to hit me with a fucking belt buckle. She'd grab me by the top of the head, and I'd run around in circles, man, just trying to get away. And that fucking buckle would hit me in the legs and the knees and the ass. And I don't agree with that.
But I saw you laughing a little bit, Fez. Right?
Yeah.
But if you got a call from somebody that said that they were sexually abused, you wouldn't be laughing because you know why?
Why?
That's actually abuse. Where I don't think smacking a kid, I don't think we think of it as abuse. The kids don't think of it as abuse. I think somehow the shrinks have gotten this into everyone's fucking heads that it's abuse. Go ahead, Kevin.
That's true. All right. Well, no, all I'm saying is my kids will tell my wife to shut up or something, and smack them on the ass twice, not with anything, just my hand, and they will shape the fuck up. That's all I'm saying. I don't beat the hell out of them or nothing. But
I got to agree with them. There's got to be a certain place where you go, you know what, fucking playtime's over. And you know my kids, nicest kids you'll ever meet, never had to hit either one of them. Would I take that off the table? Never. That's on the fucking table. And it's staying on the table. And not just now, but when you're 40. That's not taken off the fucking table. And I'll tell you the truth, it ain't off the table with anybody in my life. There are instances where I could hit you, Fez. I don't have to.
Right.
I never felt the desire to, but I could fucking hit you, Elo, a cop, whoever it is. There will become a fucking point where I'm going to fucking throw hands if I'm treated a certain way. Why, if you're not taking that off the fucking table with any other adult, and I don't know anybody who wouldn't defend themselves, why are kids somehow not held to those rules?
With the kid, it's if you're hitting the kid, you're going to impose your will because that's what you have to do. But to me, it's just such a strong person taking advantage of a weak person.
That's right, motherfucker. That's where it's coming from. Wake up time.
It just completely, it sets your head straight. I mean, my father always used to tell me a story when he was growing up, like all the kids in the neighborhood, if you were bad, not only did you get a beating, you had to pick the weapon which you got beat with, you had to go get the switch, and you couldn't come back with everyone would come back with like a twig, or it's like, you better not come back with something other than basically short of a limb to get beat with.
Here's Shane. Shane, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, buddies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, my mom beat the crap out of me, but it's not one I didn't deserve. And the other thing is, I beat my kids, and I get nothing but compliments on how nice and polite they are.
Sure, they're walking on pins and needles with you.
Exactly, standing in line like youth Nazi.
Damn right, because it's my house and my rules. If they don't like it, they can get the fuck out.
That's great. That's got to be a warm place to come home to.
Well, you want to know something? There's nothing that they don't ask for that they don't get either. So it's nothing that they don't get, nothing that they didn't deserve.
Including a burnt cigarette to the forehead.
Now, Fez, you can't take the guy from saying that he'll smack his kid till suddenly he's going to burn his fucking kid on the forehead. That's a huge leap.
He sounds like he has beat any sort of life or fun out of those kids. And is proud of it. He's proud of the way he's beat his kids.
He's proud that his kids are well behaved. I know I've been in a Denny's where I'm going, somebody hit that fucking kid over there. Because I'll tie two shoes together and fucking smack the shit out of all of them. And I will, if I see some kid misbehaving to the mom, I'll give him the, hey, cut that shit out. And watch that fucking kid look scared shitless. These fucking kids are out of their minds now. The mall, it's an embarrassment the way these kids. And you know what the other problem of it is? The fathers look just like them. The fathers are dressed in the same shorts and fucking stupid hat, and it's like seeing a family of children where nobody's in fucking charge.
I agree. Someone's got to be the adult. The adult has to be the adult.
That's right. That's why when you punish like an adult, not like a kid, or in your view, it's a sadist that's burning people. That's not going to happen, or it shouldn't happen. A person should be arrested. But somebody's got to be in charge of that joint. And you're not, and when you say sit down, and a fucking kid starts going crazy, and then you think, well, then I'm going to take away your, fucking video game or whatever it is, and that kid starts to throw shit around. These kids are throwing stuff all over the place. They destroy their homes. What do? What are you going to do, Fez?
I'm probably going to raise my voice and send the kid to his room.
What if they don't go? You act like they're just going to do things.
I would put him in the room without hitting him. I would escort him to the room.
What makes him stay?
He would have to get past me to get back out.
So you're going to block him. You're going to, and your fucking life now is going to be standing in the doorway instead of doing what you want to do.
And even if you have to do that, there's nothing wrong with, let's say, like grabbing him by the freaking ear or like the back of the neck.
You just grabbed your intern when you were doing that.
No,
that intern has every right to.
But you can even do that, but you can be forceful about it and just show, like, you know what, I'm not screwing around here. Somebody has to establish that they're the adult and they're the person in charge.
All right, Steve, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
What can we do for you, brother? You're on the air.
Oh, hey, I don't believe that hitting a kid or disciplining him is abuse. Just like society, we have law enforcement. If a police pulls you over and tells you to remain in your vehicle and you step out of the vehicle, what happens to you?
You're going to get...
Police tell you to... Yeah, you're gonna get stun gunned, you're gonna get cuffed, and you're gonna get stuffed, and you're gonna get thrown in jail. That's not abuse.
You know what? A lot of people will eventually start and call it abuse. It's the same kind of system that somehow we coddle people who are misbehaving. I don't even understand it. I need somebody here to agree with Fez. Steve, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Ron, I was wondering if there was a chapter in that book on how to wash the sand off your naked kid in the driveway.
All right, Fez, you also saw that as abuse?
That was just humiliating. That wasn't so much physical abuse as it was just embarrassing and no regard for my feelings in the situation. When my father, had my bathing suit down around my ankles, hosing off my ass in the driveway with everybody watching.
But you would consider that abusive behavior?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were abused by both parents?
Yes.
Mentally, physically,
emotionally.
Now, did you know that before the shrinks got their hands on you?
No, probably not.
Thank you.
No.
I didn't think so. I think it's shrink talk. I really do. Here is Kent. Kent, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, Kent. Yeah, I have a friend, well, he's my brother's friend, and he got kicked out at the age of 17 because his parents thought he might do something. Like, preemptive, kick him out. I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
Kicked him out of what?
His house. They just completely kicked him out of his house.
At what age?
At the age of 17. 17. He's not going to be 18 for another, 8 months.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact age is. I think it's 18 that you got to be there for your kids, so they would probably be breaking the law, but I'm not, sure about the law. I mean, I've never believed in, hey, 18, get out of the house, whatever, because each person is different. Everybody is a little different. Some kids, they want to be out of the house at an early age. Others want to stay home till they're 30, till all their friends have to talk them into leaving.
Sure, it happens. Like you said, everybody's different.
See, that's an interesting thing, Fez. You stayed home till your what age?
30.
30. But you felt that you were abused.
Right.
Yet you stayed there till you were 30. One thing does not fit with the other.
Well, I didn't have the resources to get out.
Everybody's got the resources to get out. If you're broke, you can still get out. Everybody's got a place they can crash somewhere with friends, sleep on the floor, rent a fucking room. You're not going to move into the Taj Mahal like when you finally did fucking move out. You're in that penthouse overlooking the Gulf, which meant that you had money for years. But the point was this. You were there because you wanted to be there. And then there's a part of you that's resentful of those folks, particularly your mom.
Yeah, it was very odd. My mother has been two different people in my life. I mean, when we were kids, she was just hell on earth. And when I came back home from college, she had, really mellowed out. She's the lady that you know now. The grandmother.
Maybe she always was. Maybe it was your perception.
I mean, I'll say it was my perception, but I think it was a lot of other people's, too.
And yet they all stayed home, too, huh? Interesting. Dependency. The massive dependency of this family. How do you see it, Earl?
It's just like this. It's like not a passive aggressive. It's very. It's it's like hate, love and hate at the same time. Like I love the fact that I'm being hated, so I'm going to stay there.
Right. Like they love bitching about it. You know what I mean? Like that's all part of it. They love being resentful. And when I say they, I mean Fez.
I mean, yeah, there's things that I hold on to, sure.
Why?
Haven't learned to let go of them.
Learn right this second. Let go.
I probably haven't made up my mind so much to let go. Think I have, but then it ended up not being that way.
You enjoy holding on to that. There's something. No one does anything without there being some kind of positive intention. Everybody does everything for a positive intention. And part of you, you really do enjoy that. I remember that, there was somebody that you were, maybe it was Harry, that you were blaming your heart attack on. You're making me sick. And I remember Harry looked at like he could not even give a fuck. And I'm thinking, you're playing some fucking game with him that he just wasn't going to play back with you. And I thought to myself, there's something somewhere you learned,
Yeah, no rise out of Harry whatsoever.
Where maybe somebody could have done that to you before. You know what I mean? Where somebody could have made you feel responsible for their fucking feelings or their bad behavior. But Harry was just like, yeah, okay. Go have your heart attack. Here is Barney. Barney, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
I don't need somebody to agree with Fez over there.
Unfortunately, I can't.
Okay.
It sounds like Fez is just so sensitive now after the heart attack. It's just, don't abuse anybody, and, I was abused as a child. It's very sensitive.
Well, Fez, you think that's post-heart attack, or you think you were always kind of a sensitive fella?
Oh, I was always sensitive. Well before the heart attack. I mean, yeah, as a kid, too sensitive, sure.
Too sensitive?
Yeah, I think so.
What means what represents two to you?
Where it's everything feels like you're responsible for everything.
Mm-hmm. You were alone there too, a lot as a kid. You were alone in your own thoughts and your own feelings.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Give me some sad music. I'm pushing for a tear. When you think about some of the things, did you ever wonder what was going to happen? What was going to happen to that little boy?
Oh, I always worried about that.
If you could see that little boy now, what would you say?
I would say you don't have to worry.
Well,
you're going to get taken care of.
How?
That it's going to turn out okay. That the worst, the things you're thinking of, the worst case scenarios, aren't going to happen.
Like a heart attack or panic attacks for being late for work? Or would you explain that to that little boy? That this just keeps on happening?
Yeah, I would probably tell him...
Almost a tear.
Try not to panic so much.
Try not to panic.
Because it's just going to get worse, this panic problem.
So you would have to tell him that things are going to get worse.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's not so much that you could even take care of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to.
Poor little guy.
Poor little Fez.
Maybe if somebody would have straightened him out instead of just coming to him, say no one's going to help you. No tears, sorry. I was trying to get a tear there so you could call in and win, but we haven't pulled it off yet. Amy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. I'm going to say you should not hit your children.
There you go, Fezzy.
Right.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, go ahead, Amy.
I have two daughters, and I have been so furious with them that, like, I can feel my blood boiling. But I've never hit them, and I would not. They look to me to be the person that can do they can do anything they want, and I'm their person to help them and to nurture them.
All right, wait a minute. When you can say, all right, hold on, let's get into this. They can do anything they want. Can they destroy other people's property?
No, my girls would never do that, and I wouldn't let them. They would be in big trouble if they did that.
What would big trouble mean?
They like one of my daughters loves to play on the computer and other things like that. They would get timeouts. They would have things taken away from them, privileges that really make a difference to them that they would really not.
Can we all agree to this? Raising two daughters not the same as raising sons?
No, we cannot.
Yeah.
Because they can get pregnant.
Because, well, yeah, but you don't hit pregnant people. But I can tell you, as a son, me and my brother were fucking psychos. And we were out of our minds. And something had to be done about it. And I don't even think enough was. I think we were that fucking far gone. And then the weird thing, Fez, between, like, the difference between me and you is, like, I knew, okay, I'm out. It's fucking way past when I promised to be home. Fuck it, I'm going to stay out. And I'll come home and I'll take whatever shit I have to. It was worth it to me to say, I'll take a couple of pops. I'll do the smart thing. I'll go down like a fucking sack of potatoes. You know what I mean? Just act like, oh, geez, that one dropped me. And then get up and go to my room and sleep it off.
That was my problem. If I did something like that, I couldn't enjoy it in the moment.
Enjoy what?
Like, if I was, like, staying out past when I was supposed to or something like that, and it was, I didn't have the fuck it thing. I'll just take the punishment when it comes.
First of all, watch the language. You don't need to work blue. You're way too smart for that. Way too smart to use that kind of language. Two, yeah, but I'm saying when you get hit, you go right down. You can't believe how, boom, that's it. You got me, Dad. Boy, did I learn my lesson down here. Down goes Frazier was my fucking motto I had in my head all the time. Here is Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that, Fez, I'm with you on this one, buddy. I was the target for my father when I was a kid growing up. There's 6 kids in my family, and I used to sit in what my father called the SWAT seat at the table. And if you were bad during the day and didn't realize it, you were sitting in the SWAT seat and you were going to get smacked upside the head. And now I have 2 daughters, and all I have to do is basically tell them the story about when I was a kid. And they it scares the shit out of them. I said, listen, you guys are lucky. I wouldn't, put that stuff on you. And if they ever get to the point of making my blood boil, all I got to do is look at them. Now, I'll grab one, like, by the scuff of the shirt. If they get to that point and they're just melting off of you, right to the room, they're good. They got the scare because they know.
But see, I got to agree with Dave here. I don't think me and Dave are on different sides of the thing. I'm all for that. If you change their fucking state with a stare, if you change their state with loud music, if you change their state by taking something away, fine. But if you don't, if you have that kid who went, you're yelling, I don't give a shit. You're giving me the stare, I don't give a shit. You're taking away my stuff, I don't care. At some point, you got to raise the fucking game up. And say, here's where we're going now.
How quick does that point come to, though?
You'll fucking know it as a parent. And when it does, the fucking kid's got it coming to him. The kid has got it coming to him. Just like in this life, Fez, that if I push you physically too far, when you hit me, the last thing I should be is fucking surprised. I should have known I've crossed the line.
Right. I just hope no one has to get to that. I hate to think that point has to be gotten to.
I know. You know what? You hate that there's a lot of bad things or sad things in the world. That doesn't mean that they go away.
True.
I see myself as a peaceful fucking guy, but do I think that you don't have an army? No, you have to have an army in this world. If you want to be a fucking country, you got to have an army. Lebanon should have had a fucking army for themselves, because they look like idiots now without one. Did they feel like they bothered their neighbor until some kind of shit like this was going to happen? Yeah, it's what happened. One of the reasons is they didn't take care of the bad people in their own country. Now everybody's fucking paying. Doesn't mean that there isn't not things that happen in this world. Here is, I'll go to Colorado. I don't have a name here because I got Dave running funny jokes. Hey, you're on Ron and Fez.
This is Eric. Yeah, this is Eric.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the perfect example of what Ronnie's talking about why you have to discipline your kids. My wife's one nephew got married over the weekend, and her one aunt and uncle who were there are the proverbial liberal parents who you spare the rod, spoil the child. They don't even yell at this kid, and he runs around like a little hellion. And at the wedding Saturday, he was running around. 3 or 4 people told him to knock it off. He said, no, I won't, and he ended up knocking over the wedding cake, the table with the wedding cake, and destroying a $300 custom-made topper, porcelain topper on the cake. And when the father of the groom and the father of the bride grabbed this kid and both swatted him, his parents were livid. And the whole family turned on the kid's parents and said, if you would smack this fucking kid once in a while and teach him some discipline and some manners, this wouldn't have happened. And they couldn't believe that the family would turn on them like that.
Yeah, some people that feel like raising this child, it's the entire community's fucking thing. I've been in restaurants where I just hear these kids yelling, throwing food at their parents, and their parents doing that. Now, what does that mean, Jeffrey? We know better than that, don't we, Jeffrey? Why, there's fucking eggs flying around. And I'm like, come on. Somebody over there has got to be the adult. Instead of fucking Jeffrey and this kid, you're going to have to drop him.
See, I think people think that I'm against discipline whatsoever. I'm not. I'm just against hitting.
Well, you're against finishing. You're against getting the fucking job done. You're against saying this is where the line is. You cannot. Your point of view is that hitting is abuse, and that's what I disagree with.
Right. Yeah. I think hitting it's wrong. You shouldn't hit another person.
What are you going to do if you're attacked? What are you going to do right now if Eastside Dave comes in and starts to grab at your wallet, grab at your person? You're never going to hit him.
I would have to hit him.
Thank you. There are times when you have to fucking hit. That's it. That's the fucking rule. Period.
But with these kids, these parents aren't in danger of their lives. I mean, if it gets to that situation,
their kids are in fucking danger of their lives. That's whose life is being endangered. The kid who thinks that there's no consequences on this planet his life is in danger. You're setting a fucking course for this kid sooner or later for something really bad to happen to him. All right, here's your buddy, Paranoid. Hey, Perry.
Hey, guys, what's happening?
Yeah.
Fez, looking back on it, what do you think did more damage to you, physical abuse or verbal abuse?
Yeah, honestly, I think it was the verbal abuse.
You would have rather taken
yelling
that
at kids.
Not yelling at kids. I mean verbal abuse in the fact of you're screaming mean things at kids, hurtful things, like, hey, knock it off or get in your room. I don't consider that verbal abuse.
What is the verbal abuse then?
I mean, say, putting it on a kid, that screaming at him that you're going to walk out of this house, your parents are going to leave because you're so bad, that sort of thing.
You fucking retard, stuff like that.
Yes. Where the kid just makes, they're made to feel worthless. Not in trouble, worthless.
Do you ever get the feeling to step in if you're out publicly and see someone slapping their kid around?
Yeah, I always think about that.
Do you ever do it?
No, I don't.
You look
All
like
right,
you're ready
guys.
to cry now.
Almost prize time.
Almost prize time. What happened? You go back remembering those things that you were told?
Yeah, just some of those things.
Well, you know what? I mean, when I see it carrying on like this, I'm going to leave this show. I've had it. I can't put up with this anymore.
Don't.
It's your fault. Then Earl's going to have to pay as well. Earl's going to have to pay, and I'm leaving.
See, that takes me back.
Yeah.
It's almost prize time.
I can remember my mom screaming, and I'm biting my lip. I'm fucking laughing so hard of her craziness. She would call me the village idiot and rude individual. Two fucking crazy phrases that I would be called, and I hate to say it, the other one, Larry Coker, who was a fucking idiot in our neighborhood. You act like Larry Coker. I had no idea that other people didn't get called that. That was like the really embarrassing thing. But, it's again, maybe you were just overly sensitive.
Yeah, I will admit to that. Yeah. I got wore down into my oversensitivity.
I mean, you can imagine how disappointing it is to have an overly sensitive child for the parents.
It's disappointing?
Wouldn't you be disappointing now? I mean, when Earl, you see what he wants in his son, right? He wants a fucking switch-hitting catcher. That's his dream. You see, with Dave, what was it that you said you wanted to do with your son?
I wanted them to grow up and have a great library jump shot.
Right.
Sort of.
So you see what most parents want for their kids. Now, here's a kid who wants an ascot. He's a little chubby, afraid that someone's going to see his dick. You got to see, some of this had to be your fault.
No, none of it was my fault. None of that was my fault.
Well, you can see where the disappointment came in.
No, I don't understand the disappointment at all. You got a great kid there.
Do you? Earl, let me just check. And this isn't me talking, because you know the kind of dad I am.
Right.
I ain't a fucking regular guy either. Earl, would you have been very disappointed with a sensitive boy?
Yeah, I've definitely been.
Even quietly disappointed?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll say it out loud. I'd be very quietly disappointed. It's like, can you?
But if, let's say, your son had those tendencies, there's some part of you that's heartbroken, right?
Yeah, you want him a little rough and rugged. You want a little version of you. You know what I mean? If you consider yourself rugged.
A little version of you, you're gonna have a toddler fucking trying to hang up pictures, Earl. That's nothing to be proud of either. Dave, let me ask you: would you be disappointed? Even quietly disappointed with a sensitive boy.
Yeah, because I want my baby boy, to, bang chicks and be great at sports. And, I don't want crybabies. I'm not going to tolerate it.
I got to tell you the truth, Fez. I hate to say it, but that's the normal fucking thought pattern out there.
I'm sure it is.
So maybe what you need to do is apologize to your folks for letting them down.
I am not going to apologize to them.
They ought to walk out of here, and then you have no parents.
No, that's awful.
So even though you didn't like getting smacked or yelled at, you were also afraid of them leaving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Leaving and, getting abandoned. Like I was going to get taken somewhere and left there. Oh, I always thought that was going to happen. I always thought it was some elaborate plot. Just going to the grocery store. Today's the day I get left.
My grandmother actually used to say, I'm going to trade you the Indians for a horse and then shoot the horse. I never even fucking knew what it meant until I got older. It meant, then I can't go back on the deal. I will kill the horse so it will be impossible to get you back from Indians.
I would have totally bought into that. Today's the day the Indians come to get me.
You know what it sounded like to me as a little kid? Wah, 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 wah. Older people words. Older people words. What are you going to do? You can't worry about other stuff, Fez.
Yeah. It gets you nowhere. Except the coronary care unit.
Did you feel the good? And then that's where it seemed like you were happy. To me, as long as I've known you, that's the happiest I've ever seen you. Sitting there with all those fucking tubes in you, and you had a little grin on your face. You just had a little smile, like, finally.
I couldn't wait to get out of there.
No, that's bullshit.
I was nervous to leave, but I wanted to go home.
You were ecstatic in there. I'll fucking ask my chick right now, because I said, have you ever seen Fez look so calm? And she goes, he does seem like he likes all the numbers, and he does like all the attention from the nurses.
I did like that heart monitor.
You were comfortable and happy the whole time you were in there.
I was being watched. I was being cared for. It felt good.
Why don't you pay a little attention to yourself?
They were so excited. They clapped for me when I finally pissed after the procedure.
I'm sure they clapped after you left. Must have been fucking nice.
I'm sure they did not.
You know what I want you to do, Fez? I want you to do something that's going to impress your parents. I want you to go fucking climb a mountain. I want you to skydive. I want you to show them that you're not that sensitive boy anymore.
That's not going to impress them, and it's not going to impress me either.
I'll be impressed. Earl, impressed?
Very.
Oh, you're going to have Earl. And it's unusual for him to line up on my side, Fezzy.
I know. He's out on a big limb today.
That's something I didn't expect.
None of us did.
I didn't expect him to line up shoulder to shoulder with me.
It's like seeing Halley's Comet.
Earl, do me a favor. I want you to book a plane to drop Fezzy on top of a mountain, and then I want to have him climb down the mountain, down a straight rock face.
With or without a parachute?
Well, parachute to the top of the mountain, and after that I'm just going to tie a cord around him and we'll lower him down.
Make sure I get all the way down.
You going to do this then?
Don't start making me climb.
You going to do this?
No, I'll never do that.
At least jump out of the plane.
I don't know. Getting on the plane would be just as hard a part as any of the other aspects.
Why don't you jump out of a plane and we'll have you land right in your parents' backyard and then you... Are you satisfied? Is this what you wanted? What is he doing? What is he doing?
I don't think they'd be impressed.
He never moved out till he was 30. 30. Still living at home. You want to hit him with that abandonment thing again? He's still up there. In that room. Was your mom doing your laundry?
No, I was doing my laundry.
Fantastic. I bet you started doing your own laundry at age 5. Please, Mother. I don't want you overstarching this ascot.
That was one of the things. Don't screw up the laundry. The folding of the clothes.
Hey, Jerry, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
Buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, I could not have been happier yesterday when my boy and a couple of his buddies dug out the video camera and boxing gloves and taped themselves beating the shit out of one another. That made me so proud.
Guys, you ever boxed as a child?
No, I've never boxed.
Maybe you get in the ring, send a tape to your parents. Let them know. Soft boy's over. I got to take a break here, Fez. Be right back, Ron and Fez. You're listening to the best of the Ron and Fez show. Fez, how you enjoying the vacation so far?
Pretty good, but I've got to wait 30 minutes to go back into the pool.
Why? You ate 2 hours ago.
Yeah, but I had an accident on the diving board, and they're still cleaning it up.
Thanks for ruining another vacation, shitty.
Now back to the best of the Ron and Fez show. Have you ever crossed a picket line, Ronnie?
Would I or have I? No, I've never crossed the picket line.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, too. Because my brother was talking about coming back up for a visit.
Yeah.
And I was remembering the last time he was here, he wanted to take his wife and daughter to see the Rockettes, the Christmas show, the Christmas Spectacular. And I wouldn't take him because at that point, the Rockettes had the picket line. They were demonstrating out in front of Radio City Music Hall. And I said, I can't buy tickets for this. You know, I'm not going to cross that picket line.
How did you vote Republican so many years in your life where you don't hold any of the same beliefs as them? Not one. Have you ever noticed that about him, Earl?
Yeah, I mean, as far as...
His favorite president of all time was a strikebreaker, Reagan. Loves Reagan, the fucking union guy who turned on the unions. Now, I would say this, Fez. I would cross a picket line if I didn't believe what they were doing. Like, if I went to see Last Temptation of Christ and there was a bunch of people saying don't see this movie or Dogma or whatever, I'd have to say, hey, you have your rights to free, expression. I have my rights to see this film by this filmmaker, and I'd keep on going. I don't think of any situation where I have or would cross a line that had workers on it. And sometimes we have, stuff here like the big rat they put up in New York. I would never cross that. But that's just my own beliefs.
Yeah, I've walked by places with the giant rat. And I'll tell you what, that giant inflatable rat, that looks more impressive than a picket line outside.
I have the tendency to be more on the side of the guys than I do the major international corporations. If there's one thing that I don't relate to at all, is the major international corporation people. So I would pretty much always be on the side of the regular guys.
Yeah, I remember there was a big protest in front of the Garden, and they had the giant rat there.
Mm-hmm.
And the abuse that they put on the person that crossed the picket line, because it was all cops and firemen.
Right.
And about the heads of the unions were there, and he had the big bullhorn. Look at that guy. He is crossing our picket. I mean, just
now, what was it for, do you know?
That was when they were chasing the mayor around because they wouldn't negotiate a new police contract.
Right, but I mean, would you be like having tickets to a ball game and then they're there?
It was basically, it was the scab security guys that were there because they basically hired their own private security firm.
What I'm trying to say is this. It's a rough situation if you just bought, tickets for $100 for you and your kid. You show up and they say don't come in. You gotta be like, I don't know. Fellas, look at this. Is somebody buying these tickets from me? Doesn't seem like it's fair. But like if you show up somewhere and you haven't made a purchase, I could see going, no, I'm not going to do it.
Earl, if like during the transit strike last year, if they brought in scab people to run the subways and stuff, would you have broken that line just to get to work?
No, I wouldn't have crossed the picket line.
I'll speak for myself, too. I don't cross that line. I never would fuck with that, I honestly think that that's like working man, and that's, wrong. I know not everybody agrees with me. I don't think it's a sin or anything. I think it's more of a political thing. Where are you at it on it, Fez?
No, I wouldn't have crossed that line either, but I think I had the feeling there were so many people mad at the transit union in the city that I think, a lot of people would have done that.
Why do you think they were mad?
That it was an illegal strike, and that they were mad because they couldn't get to work.
What do you mean illegal strike? That's what's frustrated me. The government and the fucking newspapers lined up with this together. They claim it's an illegal strike because they fucking control the government. It always kills me when that terminology is used.
That term drove me crazy because the Taylor law itself is flawed.
Right,
exactly. The law itself is flawed. It's basically designed not to have government workers.
But then the Post picked up that fucking headline, and of course, the local news, TV news. But you didn't fucking hear that from any of the people who actually worked there, that it was a legal strike. And I'm sure you didn't look into it, Fez.
No, I didn't.
But you let them carry that fucking banner is what drives me crazy.
Yeah, everyone. The mayor, the governor, every word out of their mouth pertaining to the strike, the first words was illegal. This illegal action, this illegal thing. And no one questioned the law that they were actually breaking.
Right.
Which is designed to screw the unions.
The fucking newspapers were absolutely on the side of...
management.
Yeah, it was unbelievable how that happens almost 100% of the time now. I mean, we live in a country with really no real unions anymore, That's why... most people now are like, fuck it. Unions are just filled with, Spanish people. But I have a tendency, before I'm on the side of a large corporation, to line up with the people who actually work for a living.
Do the Teamsters still have a lot of pull in this country?
There's some, but not like they had before. I mean, it was a major, major union. The auto workers, major, major union. Most of the time, it doesn't really exist anymore. Hey, Trevor, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, I miss Scab Fez.
Scab Fez is here. Always ready. What can we do for you, buddy?
I was a first-year apprentice working in Northern Ontario, and we crossed the picket line there. They were on strike for 7 years. And the main point, the only reason I crossed is because the guys that were working at the mine also were, working the picket line, also took the jobs of, the regular townsfolk. So they were basically doing my job.
So you didn't see him as a legitimate union at the time?
Well, no, because they were taking their union pay to stand on the picket line, but then they would also, work.
We're losing you, buddy. No, I mean, I agree with you that not every union has always been a good union. I'm just saying, rule of thumb, I don't cross picket lines. Again, when you say picket line, though, if I go off to some place and someone's saying, I don't want people to see this performance or this band or whatever, and I would normally stop and talk to the people, since I felt like they were making a political statement and they deserved that time, I would, at least for me, if I had the time, I would give it to them and explain why I thought that they were dog shit. Here's Frank. Frank, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing? I wanted to thank you guys for supporting the unions today. We fight it every day, non-union, and it's tough. It's nice to hear somebody out there saying, backing us up a little bit.
All right, thank you very much. My thing is this, anything that's ever happened for workers' rights, if you got any kind of compensation, you can go back and thank the early union stuff. If you've got health care at your place, if there's any kind of benefits set up for your own safety, it's because some guys had to fight for it. The early corporations never set that up for guys from the beginning.
I also always appreciate someone who's going to go do a job that I can't do or couldn't do whatsoever. I'm not going to go in those subway tunnels.
Here's Ron. Ron, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez, how you doing? Hey, I think today's union is obsolete. I mean, yeah, you're right about the history of the unions where it helped us out, but a lot of the companies today are already offering these benefits, and you wind up paying these union dues for nothing. And then earlier you were talking about how it's the working man. You ever drive by a construction site and see one guy working and 15 guys standing around? Today's union is lazy.
Well, you're going to hear that there, but I fucking work with salespeople. I work with corporate people that I don't see busting their ass from dot to dot either. There is a thing of blaming it on that. And again, do you compare working a construction site, which is a dangerous fucking place, with a guy wearing a shirt and tie and going somewhere else? And that guy wearing a shirt and tie, I guarantee you, is making more money than these lazy people that you happen to be talking about, who are risking their lives driving major trucks out on the highway that are filled with explosives. There's a lot of guys out there that when they go to work, these aren't firemen or cops, regular guys working construction that are really risking their lives at work. Their safety anyway.
Yeah, I think of miners. I think of think of garbage men. What they have to do, they deal with filth all day. They deal with waste all day from the moment they get up till the end of the day.
And there's also a lot of garbage men who die getting hit by cars. It's a very, very dangerous job. Those guys should be taken care of. Everybody, these companies should set up health care. And I'll tell you something else. I don't want to bring up this company, but here's what I hate about the large fucking corporations. They'll hit you with that shit like, hey, we're all a big family. Hey, Ron and Fez, I want you to know you're part of our family. I want you to feel like this is home. A company that we used to just work for ran into a little bit of a problem, and boy, did they go letting go 100 members of their family that had been there for 19, 20 years, and just got rid of them all in one fell swoop for no fucking reason but to work on the profits for that quarter. So you can't act like, hey, the company's always there for you. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah, that was a real family. You're actually just putting out aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers and stuff into the street. Get out of the house.
And Earl, you've seen many times I know you were involved in a union before. The companies never take care of the guys at the bottom. It's just something that they don't do.
It's a day-to-day battle that has to go on. And then the part that always kills me is like, hey, you're part of the family, you're this and that. And then when you ask for something, they look at you like you've asked for the moon.
Like you've stolen.
Like, yeah, like you stole. Like we're stealing. I've been in union meetings where our representative would go, he would be just screaming. He would go, guys, we're not trying to break the bank. We're just talking about a livable wage in New York City. It's like we're just talking about eating. So we've had guys who had houses now, they're in one-bedroom apartments. It's like you keep telling us we're the best, we're this and that. You have to pay us to be in this market.
It's rough sometimes, man. And I go back to that. If I'm going up to a store and I hear from the fucking guys that work there, this place is a piece of shit, don't come in, I'm not fucking going to go in until they take care of those guys. I got other places I can go. I don't need that kind of garbage in my life. I don't need that karma laid on me. But I also don't have the time to sit there and go over it. But who do I identify with more? That brand? That brand is fucking people. People built that fucking company.
Yeah, I always look like during the transit strike, as inconvenient as it was, I understood those guys. The guys who work in the tunnels, I have no idea what gets them motivated in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're dealing with filth, you're dealing with dust, you're dealing with sewage, you're dealing with trains, you're dealing...
Mole people.
There's people living underground, and God knows what they leave behind. And it's like, give them the money. They earned it.
Not only now, those same people are checking for your safety all the time. Your safety with the trains, your safety against terrorists. I mean, there's a give and take in the world. Some of these people, they deserve your respect. Hey, Russell, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing, Ron and Fez? 14486.
Hey, buddy.
Hoo-ah! My family's run a shop in the Yonkers area, a Teamster shop for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And Teamsters lost a lot of pull because the government stepped in because of all the shadiness. And now the government pretty much runs a lot of the stuff, so the Teamsters lost a lot of pull.
Right. But it's not like there's never been shadiness with the government or shadiness with these large corporations. And I don't doubt that some of the stuff that got caught up with the Teamsters years ago shouldn't have happened. But again, is that going back to take care of the regular guy? No. I don't doubt that some of those things did happen and should have been taken care of. But at the same time, when the government does something wrong, the people shouldn't be that position shouldn't be taken away. Suddenly now we don't have a representative. You need people out there to fight for you. Fez and I have an agent that works a deal for us, who signs gets a contract together for us. In a lot of ways, it's Fez and I pulling together to say this is the way we would work with representation. It's the same deal. It's the same way I say it.
It's a two-man union.
No. Right now, Fez is shop steward, and I need him to take care of a couple things.
There will be a meeting later.
Well, here's all I'm saying. I want more. I want more and better. Take that upstairs.
I'll take that to the union rep.
I want you to get me more, and then I want that more to be better than before. That's all I want. More and better. It's not so much to ask for.
It seems really simple when you break it down like that.
And in the end, it's always, no matter what the union is, they're still overmatched. You know what I mean? Like, if you go up against a corporation, they got endless vats of money.
No, the only thing that you can do is shut the fucker down. Yeah. And now what have they done? They've taken the jobs out of this country, and people blame that on the union. Because of the union, we don't make clothes in this country anymore. We used to make clothes. Oh, what are they paying those fucking people over in Korea or wherever they're at? $1 a day. Which goes to show they don't give a fuck about people. They only care about profits. If they could get away with paying $1 a day in Lansing, Michigan, they would do it. They don't fucking get away with it because the people rose up. And someday the people overseas will as well. Someday the workers of the world will unite. And they're going to unite against us, folks. That's where it's going to fucking come at. We're going to look around, and the rest of the world's going, you fuckers have taken advantage. Look what you... Because we don't know where our sneakers are made or what those people went through. We're just buying a pair of sneakers. We don't know about jeans. All the things that you're wearing, that you own, have fucking horror stories attached to them. And I kid you not when I say that. Horror stories. And one day, that fucking bill's going to come up.
It makes you wonder just how much of what you're wearing now is made by some little kid who should, like a 4-year-old
Their
or something.
tiny little fingers are able to put the buttons in. That's perfect.
Preschoolers made these shoes.
That zipper of yours comes from an infant's teeth. And they're going to go to us. How could you put up with this? And we're like, hey, we didn't know, man. We didn't know. Jeez. We were watching TV. We really like sneakers. We didn't say that to you. We love sneakers. But somewhere along the lines, it goes to show you those big corporations, they don't have any feelings. I mean, and nor should they. Because the corporation doesn't even belong to the people running it today. That thing is just, consider it like a great white shark that's just swimming, eating, moving. Somebody's running it today, but that doesn't mean they will be at any given time in the future. So you are not beholding to people when you're a corporation. You're beholding to the corporation itself.
And there's only so many places left to move. I mean, you can't do it in the United States. You can't do it in any sort of European country, get away with slave wages. You're running out of countries and people that'll do it.
Well, they do it because of the same reason people in this country used to do it, because they were starving. That, $1 a day, if it's going to your kids, whatever, you're going to take it. But you don't want to live that way forever.
You don't think there'll be a new labor movement in this country now that there's so many working
There's not
poor?
any fucking labor in this country. We are a country of fucking marketing people. We talked about this earlier today. People are working marketing. We don't make our own shit. We're not self-sufficient anymore. Nobody. My whole block, the fathers worked in factories. My whole block, everybody's dad made something. I dare you to go out and find people who say, here's an actual product that I make. Normally they're marketing, they're promoting, involved in all that kind of shit. At some point, when these other people don't make these goods and services anymore because they're striking, what are we going to do? We're going to sit here with our fucking dicks in our hands, staring around going, how are we supposed to get things? Where's our things at? Well, we'll have to fucking deal.
I always remember the movie Why We Fight, and that scene where they had people, it's like, well, I make the warheads. They had industrial plants. Those are the only people I can remember from that movie that actually made something. And they're like, hey, we assemble the warheads for like the AX missile or something like that.
I had a lot of friends whose parents worked for Boeing and were making, fucking helicopters to shoot people out of the sky. No one thought about it. There's all kinds of defense jobs in this country at one time. And some of them, there's still probably, out of real industry, probably the defense industry is the strongest because the military is using the money, our money, of course, to get involved in it.
That's the big contracts, the big bucks.
Yeah.
That always has a place.
Die Antwort, mein Freund, war ins ganze Land der Wien. Ist gut, Ron and Fez.
From the not-quite-best-selling book that asks the question, was Lincoln gay, comes the low-budget miniseries, The Intimate World of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to put the man in emancipation.
Starring Hollywood Squares legend, the late Paul Lynde, as Lincoln.
I want that hat, the stovepipe one, the one that looks like a big cock.
Enter the intimate world of Abraham Lincoln. See his early political battles against Stephen Douglas.
Gentlemen, the important issue here is that of popular sovereignty.
The important issue is, where did you get that suit? Are those buttons or hubcaps? Oh, my goodness.
May I remind my opponent that we do not have cars yet? Never mind hubcaps.
Then how did I get rear-ended last night? Ouch.
The intimate world of Abraham Lincoln. Explore his strained relationship with his wife.
Abraham, do you not find me attractive?
Maybe if you had a beard and a sword.
Then I would look like General Grant.
You got it, Sammy.
And stop calling me Sammy. My name is Mary Todd.
It's the intimate world of Abraham Lincoln, from his early thoughts on civil rights.
Come on, it's my turn to be the slave. With me.
To his fatal encounter with John Wilkes Booth.
Is that a gun in your pocket? Or is your dick just hard? Pin me over the balcony.
The Intimate World of Abraham Lincoln. Time and Newsweek both refused to comment. Out Magazine says this is even too much for us. And hear what XM Satellite Radio's Ron Bennington has to say about the intimate world of Abraham Lincoln.
This is fucked up.
The intimate world of Abraham Lincoln. This time, the truth is out.
Oh my goodness.
Ron and Fez, XM 202.
Earl, you know I have the dream of smoke pants, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you've been to ronandfez.net to see some of the pictures that our crack designing team is putting together. The big question is, when is Tim Gunn, the fashion guru, going to do the show so I can pitch him this idea?
We are shooting for the end of this week. Shooting for Thursday or Friday.
Coming in?
He will be calling in.
The problem with him calling is I can't show him the pictures of smoke pants.
We will definitely make every effort to get him in here, but I think he would love the smoke pants idea.
Any way at all, Heidi Klum can come in here and maybe try some on.
We actually had Heidi Klum, but then she had to postpone.
Why?
Because of various health reasons.
She got boned by a big black guy. This is what happened. She's going, I cannot tell you how much I'm making right now. Seal's been fucking crushing me.
That is the rumor that he's kind of a big guy.
All right, so Tim Gunn on the phone. I don't know. I really love to pitch the guy. Andre. Ever since then, me and my family have been doing the baritone gay guy talk to, like, this would be fantastic if I could just head out for a while. I'd love to have my own fashion brand.
It's like the gay guy that wants to really go deep with his voice, maybe thinking he's fooling some people.
I don't think they want to fool Fezzy. I think they're just trying to promote it more. This is fantastic. I love small salads. Try it, Fez. It's really fun.
Andre, listen. I think I can get some promotional items for smoke pants.
Perfect. We're baritone gay guys, just enjoying life. Earl, quickly go get me a big pineapple, hollowed out, filled with ice and sambuca.
You know what I like on a hot day?
What's that?
Chutney. Mango chutney. It's always good.
Let's go to a club where Negro boys are bringing us fruit drinks.
I like it. I need a big umbrella.
I could take some ice cubes up my ass right now. I'm a baritone gay man.
Has anyone seen my flip-flops?
I like that you're going with a little lisp, too.
Oh, yeah, I think it helps.
You jumped into this late, but you may be leading the pack. Earl, let me co-sign on the fact of Fez's baritone gay guy. I'm pushing that right up front. And then send that off to the bank.
You own the copyrights on everything.
Baritone gay guys are the new fantastic way of talking.
Earl, what you really need if you insist on wearing black is a black tank top.
Hey, 9 to 5. Only let baritone gay guys call the show. I don't want to hear from anybody but baritone gay guys.
That's what you need on a day that's hot like today, because you know what the heat is? It's murder.
Earl, go grab an air conditioner and put it in my pants.
Here comes Bronx Johnny with more water.
His initials are BJ, and I think he's fantastic. Love the camouflage look, Johnny.
I like this because what I need on a day like today is cold agua. Sometimes what I like to do while I'm talking in a gay baritone voice,
gay baritone guys,
is just throw in a Spanish word in the middle of a sentence that is also completely English. Like, you know what's really hot on me today is my zapatos, meaning shoes.
My problem is I'm so stupid I don't even know Espanol.
See, you did it.
What?
You use Espanol instead of Spanish as your one foreign word in the middle of your English sentence. That's one of the keys to gay baritone guys.
I love gay baritone guys. They're fantastic. Tom, somehow you've ended up on our show.
I only have one question.
Go ahead.
Why didn't Earl play Burn, Hollywood, Burn?
Great question. Earl is our black, gay, baritone friend. Aren't you, Earl?
Yes, I am.
You sure are, Earl. Every gay, black, baritone guy will immediately be allowed in any club.
It just makes for such a great scene.
Todd, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Fantastic.
I just want to let you know it's hot as balls down here, but I do want to say...
Not baritone enough.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Deeper?
Okay, I needed to tell little Fezzy there.
You're losing it.
Oh, the Earth is actually closer to the sun in winter.
He can't hold on to the voice, Fez.
No, and I have no time for him whatsoever.
He's a piece of garbage.
Hang up the telefono.
What's that?
Spanish for telephone.
Damn, I wish I understood Espanol.
You're getting it.
How?
You know Espanol, you're halfway there.
Stupid. Eric, you're on Ron and Fez.
My ass is so sweaty here in Philadelphia. It's so hot.
That's the city of brotherly love. And then Key West is the bad uncle of brotherly love. Dave, you're on the show.
Hello.
Yes.
Ron, do you get cranky ass in the summer?
That's too baritone. You basically went bass.
It's too baritone, not gay enough to be part of the gay baritone voices today.
You're so good at it.
It's really easy and fun if you try.
Maybe it's because this is the voice you make when you're getting banged in the ass.
You promised you'd never talk about that.
Mookie, you're on the Ron and Fez show on this hot day.
Hi, Mookie.
This is Mookie from Brooklyn, and I want to know if Fez thinks it's too hot to do the nasty.
Not baritone enough.
You're not quite there. Go back to Crooklyn and work on it.
Why do you say Crooklyn?
It just makes it seem more urban, more urbile.
Like it's Brooklyn plus Crook?
Exactly. Crooklyn.
That's witty and fun. Like arts and crafts. In arts and crafts, they always say have fun with it.
Exactly. You know what a fun craft name to say is?
What's that?
Macrame. It just sounds so much fun to say as a gay baritone. I'm working on my macrame.
No matter what craft I have, I'm adding sparkles. I don't care what it is. It ends with sparkles.
Sparkles are fun.
Starting to get bored of doing this voice.
Mine went a little Napoleon Dynamite.
Fantastic. Doug, you're on the Ron and Fez show. We're all doing gay baritone guys.
Hi, fellas.
Hello.
Simply fabulous on a hot day. A cool hand look. Aww.
What I could use today is a frappuccino.
In Crooklyn?
That would be good. A mocha frappuccino from Crooklyn, from the hood.
Frank, you're on Ron and Fez.
Oh my God, I'm so baritone gay. I will
Frank.
hum your balls at the speed of sound.
Frank, we stopped doing those stupid voices. Come on.
No, never.
Yes, we've stopped doing it. It's dumb.
What the hell are you doing, Frank?
It's ridiculous. We're going to take a break. Right back here, Ron and Fez show.
Ron and Fez, XM 202.